All right, everybody. Hello, and I'm always so excited to say this. Welcome back to another episodes of Soldiers of the Lich Queen. I am Sam, your dungeon master, and our overlay is looking a little bit bare today. It looks like, but don't worry, it will be filled out momentarily as we add in two new players who are waiting in the wings. They're actually in our video call right now, but I don't think you can see them. So, let's see. Let's start off with any brief channel announcements, Justin.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Channel announcements for today are going to be pretty quick. Get sign-ups going on right now for a new game on the channel, and that is Descent into Avernus. I don't know when that'll be happening yet, because I still need more applications to fill out everything. But that is going to be a run-through of the newest D&D adventure, Descent into Avernus, which starts in Baldur's Gate and ends in the first layer of the Nine Hells, Avernus. So if you like sexy demons and making infernal contracts and riding around on demon motorcycles, then drop an application. We have it all set up in our announcements channel on the Discord. So check out our Discord too, because it's really cool. And I put a lot of work into that Discord, so I'll just drop a link to the Discord in our Twitch. Also, I forgot what I was going to say. We have a podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts for our flagship campaign of the channel, Beneath the Tide, which is our pirate campaign with Sam, Garrett, Kate, and Caleb, and a soon-to-be fifth player, hopefully soon, whenever I can get the art for that character commissioned, because that character is super cool. I'm excited about that, but that's every Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, but we also have a podcast for it that is of our first 5 episodes, and they're in digestible chunks, so if you have issues sitting down for like a 3 to 4 hour video, you can at least listen to a 45-minute podcast that's been, well, a 3-hour podcast that's been split into 45-minute parts or so. Easily digestible. It's really cool. Check it out. Garrett puts a lot of work into it, and leave a rating. Also, speaking of podcast stuff, Sam.
Oh, yeah. So I do a thing on here called Demystifying DMing. There's a couple episodes, 7 episodes I think I put up on YouTube.
There's 7, yes.
Yes, perfect. They got a little lengthy. The editing process got a little long for me, and I realized that video was not the best medium for them. So I will be switching over to podcast format for those. So we're going to be taking the ones that I have already and converting them into podcast format. And then I'm also going to be recording new ones. This week I was focused on getting this back up and running. But there should be one up again shortly once I have time to write and record that. And then also we're going to be starting doing segments of DM spotlights where I will, a week's episode will be me interviewing a dungeon master about their DMing, about their process, their prepping, how they do it, tips they would give to some, tips they wish they had when they started off, how things looked like when they first started DMing, their thoughts on certain rulings and homebrew and all that stuff, and house rules. Just a fun conversation to have, to see, just kind of get into the process of different DMs. So that you have that to look forward to eventually.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm excited. So check that out. It's going to be super cool.
Yeah.
Don't need to announce anything about Soldiers of the Lich Queen because
we're here.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
I did mention on Halloween we're going to be doing some sort of special one-shot in our Wednesday slot for Beneath the Tide, and I have an idea set and ready to go that I'm very excited to run. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Ooh.
And then the night after that, after Halloween, after our Beneath the Tide Halloween kind of one-shot, is Halloween itself, and that's when we play Curse of Strahd. So it's fitting. Come watch us play Curse of Strahd on Halloween, dressed up as Halloween, in Halloween costumes. I'm trying to throw together a Strahd von Zarovich costume for it.
Oh boy.
I'm trying very hard. I might have to settle for a vampire banana costume. And I think that's what I'm going for. So tune in for that. It's going to be great.
I want to ask what that means, but I also kind of just want to wait and find out for myself.
That's what I'm doing. So
I don't even know what it means, and I'm one of the players in that game.
So
well, happy Halloween to you.
Come watch that. Anyone who shows up in costume gets 1 DM inspiration to use that entire campaign.
Ooh.
Or that one session. It's a D20 of inspiration. So
Oh wow.
Dress up and you get one of those. And the Halloween one shot the previous night, I'm very excited to run that because it's going to be so wacky. What else? Because Sam ran last year's Halloween one shot, and I want to run this year's Halloween one shot.
Right.
Anyways, as for announcements, I think that's it.
Okay. Then I think it's been a while. Hi,
It's been a
everybody.
while.
It's been a while. How you doing? Welcome back. So it has been some time since our last session. So a very brief recap. I know I could probably take an hour recapping everything, but I'll try to keep it brief. Recap for everybody. The disaster siblings, as they are fondly referred to by Rose. The disaster siblings had an interesting time. There was an incident in a tavern with an attempt at modifying a grease spell that ended in fecal matter being sprayed all over the place. Which resulted in interesting anything. Anyway, they took a job to where they did basically like a white hat break-in of a bank, where basically they were hired by the bank owner to go and try and break in and show flaws in the security. That night, as Hannibal was trying to find an alleyway to sleep in, they were attacked. Well, Hannibal was attacked, and the other two managed to hear it and come back and help him. Attacked by several creatures of the Underdark that came at them in the streets and seemed to be able to know more or less where they were. And they managed to defeat these attackers, but they were then met with their handler, Arena, who was their handler back at the Enclave, who showed up and told them that GIF Enclave's agents and just GIF Yankee all over, as far as they knew, were being attacked, and the most likely culprit that they could think of was the Illithid. So she told them that there was an enclave nearby in the mountains that was also under attack that no one had a chance to check on yet, and she tasked them with going to check on it. However, Aja, who was not having a great time with everything, especially with the absence of Reggie, the fourth party member, got into a confrontation with Arena and harassed, not the greatest word. Got into an argument with Arena. Things got a little heated. Things got a little physical, and then they got a little metaphysical as Arena showed off her psionic capabilities and lifted Aja up into the air and basically said, "I don't know what your deal is right now, but you've got stuff to do." So handed them a map and then left. As they left town, though, Aja informed the other two that she would be unable to continue with them because she cannot, especially with everything happening, she can't just leave knowing that Reggie could be out there and without knowing what's going on with him, where he is. So she decided to part ways with the party, leaving behind a letter that Drusilla read for herself and Hannibal. After which they began walking along the road towards the mountains, finding that every few minutes or so, it was like the landscape just kind of rushed past them, and they realized that they were like a couple miles ahead. And with each step, they seemed to move miles at a time, turning what would be like multiple day-long trek into like a 2-hour walk. As they sped across the countryside, they managed to find their way up into the mountains and through up into just the edge of a valley where they could see smoke rising from down below. And Hannibal slept the rest of the night into the morning in a grouping of pine trees while Drusilla kept watch. And that is where things begin today, with Hannibal waking up to the morning and Drusilla keeping watch, having stayed up pretty much all night.
Hello?
Did you have a good sleep?
Yes, I dreamt of wonderful things. Where's Aja? I have to tell her something.
Hannibal, she's gone.
Oh yes, that's right. Sorry. I forgot. So what do we do now? Do we just sit here, have a little campfire, roast some squirrels that we can find, and then make on our way?
I think we should get this last mission from the Geth done as soon as possible.
You're
Oh,
like
yes.
there. You're like there, by the way. It's like right down the path. You camped just outside of it.
And it was smoking, right? We saw smoke rising
Yes.
from it. Oh yeah.
You saw smoke rising from it. And in the morning, you can still see less smoke, like less billowing clouds, and more just kind of like trickling trails.
I
Smoke
think.
rising up.
Well, smoke can't be a good sign, so maybe we just go inside, introduce ourselves, see if there's anyone to save, be the heroes of the day.
Sounds all right to me.
Excellent. And then I need to find some time to sit down and create a new friend for myself.
Great.
I haven't used
Right.
for the skulls that I have. Oh, is this guess in my bag? I think I can make something nice out of it. Are there any like small?
Lovely.
Are there any like small birds around?
You can definitely hear them singing. You don't necessarily see any directly in your immediate vicinity, but you can hear like bird song around you in the trees. So there are birds around.
But can I find one?
Taking a look around for a second, I suppose as you peek around, you can follow one of the songs of tweeting birds and spot one.
Just 1 second. I need this for just an experiment, and I shoot it with my crossbow.
Make an attack roll.
7.
And the bird just kind of flies away after the crossbow bolt flies past it.
That was meant to happen. I think I have a way to make what I need anyway in this bag. Okay, onwards.
How long has it been since we started? And we're already starting with this. All right, let's go.
This is not uncommon.
I need materials.
All
I
right.
believe there could be other ways to get said materials.
All right,
Let's go.
let's go to the
All
right.
gates.
So you head down towards the valley, towards the smoke.
Yes.
Okay. So you head down into the valley. You find a path pretty quickly. It looks like it's fairly well traveled, but not by a lot of people.
Mhm.
All barely more than a deer trail, but Drusilla, you'd be able to tell the difference between a natural trail left by animals and one that is left by sentient creatures, and this one looks like more of the second. You make your way down, winding through kind of the crags and valleys that lead down into this valley, getting closer and closer to the smoke, and eventually you come down on one end, and you can see what appears to be, or what appears to have been at one point, a most likely dwarven settlement. Low, squat stone buildings, kind of set around this fairly narrow valley, really only in like 2 or 3 rows in some points, and like the widest part it goes to kind of like to 4 rows of buildings. And then on your left, as you come down, there's a very wide opening into what looks like a cavern system, just like a really, really wide mouth of a cave that opens up, and everything in the valley just kind of slopes downward into that. And you can see, as you come down into this valley, looking out, you can see that several of the buildings are burning, or smoldering at this point. They were burning, but now that's where the smoke is rising from, is several of the buildings. You can see just bodies laying everywhere. You notice that there are, and many of them are Gith. A lot of them are not, and you see most notably Immediately as you're coming down from the mountain, one of the ones you spot just filled with crossbow bolts and arrows. You see what appears to be a very large brain with 4 legs just laying on its side with just filled with crossbow bolts and just what looks some sort of strange fluid and mixed with blood seeping out from it that's soaked into the ground and dirt around it. As well as these kind of short, very like dingy gray-skinned creatures with like broken, gnarled teeth and scraggly black hair strewn around dead with various wounds, each of them holding a very primitive club made of bone and wearing like basically a loincloth. But as you pass by, you notice that, and you see each of them, you notice that they don't have eyes. Where there should be eyes is just flat skin. And then mixed in with these, you can see Gith either looks like they were either running away or fighting, and in just various states of injury and death. You see 2 what looks to have been guards that are laying next to each other, weapons still in hand, but it looks like they just got surrounded by these gray-skinned ones. And while there are several dead around them in a circle, you can just see just repeated injuries from the blunt force of those clubs as they all lay there dead. But you do see movement. And from a distance, you can spot a couple of those gray creatures still moving around the Enclave.
So those guys look gross. This little brain dog looks interesting, though.
Hannibal, don't touch it.
I poke it.
God damn it.
It doesn't move. It does, like you poke it and it just kind of, moves with the impact of your hand, but doesn't twitch.
Well,
what did I just say?
It's not going to devour anything. Look at it. It's dead.
You didn't know that.
It's dead. Look at it. I kick it. See, dead.
God.
But I do have an idea.
What?
I look into my coat. More like, what do you think we should do? What do you think we should do?
Oh.
I agree. Okay. Well,
So, what did he say?
He said to pick this thing up and put it in my bag. But it might go over the capacity in my bag of holding my rupture, and I'd get pulled into another plane of dimension. It'd be bad. So, I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to go speak to those big guys. Maybe? Possibly? No.
No. You're not.
Actually, I think I might.
Hannibal.
Give me a moment to see. I might have a plan to do something. No, never mind. What do you think we should do, Drusilla? There is lots of death here, and I don't want to be part of it.
Well, we were told to find any survivors and get them out. So, let's find some survivors.
They could be survivors. Those big gray ones.
Fine, go talk to them. I'm gonna go look elsewhere.
No, I'm okay.
Do we recognize any of the Gith that are dead?
You do not. All of these Gith look like strangers to you.
Those big guys look rather grim. I don't want to speak to them. So. I'm sorry, Sam. Alright, Drusilla, I follow your lead. Moloch and I follow your lead.
As you're just standing there talking about all this, actually,
Yep.
Drusilla, and you're talking to Hannibal, you've got, I assume, your staff in your hand.
Yeah.
It's got a bird carved into the top of it, if I remember correctly. Right?
Yes.
So it's got on top of you've got, as you're holding it, you just hear like a fluttering sound, and then a small bird, small blue bird, comes and flies and lands on top of your staff, like right on top of it, and it appears to be holding something in its beak. It's holding it's holding a very fluffy, downy feather, but like large. Based on what you know of birds, that would have had to come from a very, very large bird. And the feather appears to be glowing slightly.
Is this for me, friend?
I need materials.
And it kind of like quirks its head at you for a second, then takes off, and then lands on a building somewhat nearby, and then just kind of stays there.
It still has the feather, yeah?
Yes.
I put my crossbow away.
Hannibal. I'm watching you. I think this is a sign. We should follow it. I'm going to follow this little friend.
It's not a sign, it's a bird. Signs are made of wood. Signs do not have plumage.
Maybe not where you're from.
We're from the same place.
No, you're from the Enclave. I'm from the forest.
Technically, the Enclave is a forest as well because it's full of books, and books are made from trees. Let's go.
It wasn't a jungle. Okay.
Hey, let's follow this bird.
So you two are following the bird. It doesn't go too far away. It's like stays within line of sight. And as you get closer to it, it's watching you approach, and then it takes off again and then flies over and lands on another building a little further away.
I think maybe we should do this as quietly as possible, just in case there's more of those grim-looking people with the long black locks.
I think that's the first good idea you've had today.
They're grim locks, because they're grim and they have long locks of greasy hair. Okay.
Yes, I get it. They're grim. Okay.
Let's be.
Hannibal takes 10 points a second.
That's half my hit points. That's half my hit points.
Anyway. Okay, so are the two of you attempting to move stealthily?
Yes.
I am.
Okay.
I am also.
Roll me stealth checks then.
What about Moloch? He's in my coat.
Yeah, if he's in your coat, you can kind of keep him. I think you trained him to stay quiet. I think that was one of the things you trained him to do, is hush.
Yes.
So you can keep him quiet in your coat as you sneak forward.
Cool. Here we go. I'm wonderful at these. Oh, yeah. That's like the best roll I've ever had with Hannibal. 18.
Wow, okay.
14.
Okay. So you're sneaking along through these buildings, fairly small ones, and while the architecture is different, you can definitely see some similarities between your Enclave as you're peeking through some of the doors. You pass by one open door of one of the buildings. It looks like the door has been smashed open, and you can see bodies inside. But you can see a similar setup to the squat pyramid-like structure that you stayed in your 2 years. It looks like this is one of the squad rooms where they would have slept. And you spot a couple, probably squad members in there who were caught unawares when the door was smashed open as you pass by and continue going. You continue along. The bird keeps kind of hopping from building corner to building corner, staying within line of sight, and then just as you get close enough to it, it hops over to another building, and it seems to be leading you off to your left towards that cavern. And at one point you stop as you hear the sounds of these creatures lumbering. A group of them come lumbering by. And what languages do the two of you speak again?
I speak Common, Gith, Infernal, and Primordial, and I've been teaching myself to speak Deep Speech, and I'm 2 weeks out of 8 weeks with that.
Okay. And Drusilla?
Common, Druidic, Elvish, Gith, Gnomish, and Sylvan. Okay.
Neither of you have any idea what they're saying, as they're speaking in very guttural, quick, clipped words. So, very short, just kind of and they kind of point in a direction, and then they head off. One of them stops and kind of he kind of turns in your direction as he sniffs. He creeps forward, then turns slightly to his left and reaches into some bushes, and you see him grab something and pull back. and start walking back in the direction as he kind of drags a body behind him.
Is the body dead?
Yes, there's you see the dragging the dead body of what appears to be a tabaxi behind him in the direction of his friends.
Well, they do say cats have 9 lives, so they're fine. They're fine.
But what if that was their 9th?
It's not our problem. We're here to find survivors. It's definitely not a survivor. They're dead. So, I think we're okay.
Okay, so two of you continue. Eventually, it gets into the cavern and flies down. It's basically just very, very wide, probably like a 70-foot wide opening, but kind of short, like 20 feet or 15 feet tall relative to its width, and then it like gets to the edge, then flies down the slope into the cavern.
Well.
So, just a point I want to make before we encounter any actual living creatures, people. Let me speak, Hannibal. You just stand behind me and look intimidating, okay?
What's that supposed to mean?
Just stand behind me, and just don't say anything. Just.
Are you commenting on my looks?
I'm just saying, you look very scary to new people.
Fine, I can look more intimidating then. And I cast Disguise Self.
Okay, what do you make yourself look like?
I make myself look like one of those Grimlocks. If that's what they are. Yeah.
Yeah, they're Grimlocks.
And instead of having no eyes, I want 2 bulging, just red, bulbous eyes, kind of like the basilisks from Dark Souls. If anyone's played Dark Souls, just big, bulging eyes that are just like the size of basketballs, that are red, bulging. The black pupils are just like the size of baseballs, and they're bulging as well. And my teeth are just long and green and mossy and down to my chin. And my hair is just like long and greasy and filled with like maggots and worms. And then I look like a Grimlock with the body and everything.
Okay. So that's just you next to you, Drusilla.
I appreciate that you went for it. Just, you might want to stay back a bit.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to follow the bird further.
Okay. As it continues inside, you can see to your left as you enter in what appears to be some kind of, it's almost like a shack, like a hut or a shack that's built up against the cavern wall on your left. And the door is hanging open. You can see that there are several dead Grimlocks laying around the doorway.
Dude, oh my god, go to the tile. Come on.
You see several dead Grimlocks lying around the doorway.
Lay down.
And for a couple of them, you do see some what appear to be wounds left by a blade. And for the most part, though, there's a couple you don't actually see. There's like 1 or 2 you don't see any visible injuries on. They're just like laying there dead on the ground. And as you pass by and get closer, you can see what appear to be like circular burn marks on their skin, just in a few places, kind of like pockmarked over their like chest area and neck. And inside through the doorway, you can see what appears to be at one point an alchemy lab of some kind. But a bunch. There's a dead Grimlock inside, and it looks like several of like a bunch of the supplies and beakers and things have just been like smashed and destroyed, and there's alchemical reagents dripping down and mixing on the floor.
Oh, don't do this to me.
Oh, and that's right. The one that's dead inside that looks like it was doing all the smashing is bright blue for some reason. Like all the other ones are gray. This one is bright blue.
Immediately walk towards that one.
Okay. All right. Getting inside, you realize, looking around, that the smashed up like everything, all of these alchemical reagents that are like mixing on the floor, with your experience with artifice and alchemy and everything, you would know that that is there's just random things mixing together in here, and just about anything could happen if the wrong things mix and interact, just pooling on the floor. So this is a dangerous place at the moment.
Drusilla, don't come anywhere near this.
Wasn't planning on it.
It's very bad, this whole place, I think, is... no. And I just back away slowly.
Okay. So you go up towards the blue one and then see all of that and then back away. What?
Sam, what does the ground feel like?
What is the
On
ground?
the feet. Yeah. Drusilla's barefoot. Is there...
Oh, that's right. Drusilla's barefoot. It was kind of like a rocky, rough soil outside with some rough scrub on the ground. But now that you're in here, it's more of a smoothed out stone from what appears to be like frequent movement and walking. There is kind of a path almost worn into the stone where it's smoother and a little more rounded off and less jagged than in other places, and probably gets rounded off by water too as it flows down in here when it rains. But you do feel like a little bit of grittiness also on the rock, kind of stuck into the little divots and crevices left in it, and it doesn't quite feel like the dirt from outside either too. And the bird has flown further into the cavern.
Well, I guess we go onward and follow the sign.
Yes, we'll follow the sign, Hannibal. I'm just gonna follow the bird down.
All right, continuing on. As you continue, you eventually get to a wide section, like wide, almost circular chamber in here with a big vaulted ceiling that looks like it has stalactites hanging from the ceiling, but that have been like cleaved down and rounded off at some point to make more space. And in the center of that area is like probably a 2 or 3 foot drop or slope down into the middle that then opens up into just a wide pit of sand, which would explain that extra like grittiness on the ground. It looks like just a wide sand pit, and you can see like target dummies and weapon racks and things around, many of which have been smashed and overturned, and tables have been flipped over. But this appears, you would recognize this as a training area, and a place where people usually fight and train with each other. There's weapons sitting around, many of which are just kind of scattered on the floor after all of the commotion. You can see bodies laying in the sand pit, like partially buried from the way they fell, and sand is kind of falling over them. But the bird has continued now off to your right and flying down one of the sort of side passages.
Do we hear anything other than like our own footsteps in the bird's wings?
Echoing from a couple of the other passageways, you can hear kind of like the snuffling sounds of those Grimlocks sniffing around, and like occasional speech from them echoing down from the from these like hallways, as well as at one point you hear a louder and more like bestial sounding like growl of a voice in the same language call out a few quick commands, and then the Grimlock voices down that way quiet, and then you can hear like rapid activity responding.
No, let's go this way.
Yep. We're going the bird.
Okay, so you're going after the bird? All right.
Yeah.
All right, you follow after the bird, and it leads you down a couple of fairly winding, narrow passages. There's at one point a heavy wooden door that is slightly ajar. The bird kind of like lands on the door handle and slips around and then flies past, which you can push through. And as you continue onward, you eventually get to a point where for a lot of this area, it is actually still lit by torches. The torches are burning down pretty low at this point, so especially down here, the torches are getting very low and very dark and dim because they're just burning out of fuel. But you come to one point where there's a couple of rows of torches where actually it gets very dark in one section because there's a couple of rows of torches that look like they were burned down, like torches are normally like oiled cloth or something on top of a stick, essentially. You see several that look like they were burned halfway down the handle. Like you can see the still slightly glowing embers and remains of like the handle burning down. And it's just like this one area.
Something bad happened here.
But the bird just continues flying down that hallway and continues.
Okay, this shape that I have taken might do me more harm than good, and I end disguise self.
Okay.
Oh, thank God.
Especially since the Grimlocks don't have eyes.
Yep.
And are therefore immune to illusions.
Alright, so I guess we follow our little bird friend.
Follow the little bird friend.
I say
All right.
quietly as possible.
Okay. So you continue along, and then eventually you come to what appears to be a very heavy steel door set into just the end of the hallway. Like the hallway dead ends, and you can just see this massive steel door set into a wall, metal wall that kind of closes off the cavern with a heavy steel door set into it. And what's odd is that it looks as though all of the gaps around the door, there's no like window or anything, it's just a solid door, but all of the gaps around the door frame, like where the door frame meets the door, are kind of like stuffed with that downy feathery material like that the bird is carrying. As if like there's a heavy amount of wind blowing or like suction pulling it in so that it kind of stuffs in and fills the gap around the outside of it. And as you see the bird just like landed a few feet in front of the door, and as you catch up to it, it opens its beak and releases the feather in its mouth, and it kind of just flies forward as if carried by a wind that you're not feeling. Like the air down here is completely still, but it, as if carried by a wind, flies forward and just drifts along until it gets sucked up to the edge of the doorway. And then when that happens, all of the downy feather around the doorway suddenly lights up and glows for a second before vanishing into just a few particles of glowing dust that then burn out and vanish, leaving just the door.
That was so cool. I want to know how to do that. Hannibal, any ideas? Any ideas on how we can do that?
Study.
Ew. That's gross. Can I open the door?
You can. It appears to be unlocked.
I take
And-
10 steps back.
Okay. So Hannibal takes 10 steps back. And as you open the door, you see what appears to be probably was at one point a prison cell. There is a magic circle of some kind inscribed on the floor with runes set around it, and a pair of shackled chains set into the floor inside of it, although that the manacle part of those have been cut off and are laying on the ground. But standing in the room, you see two individuals.
Oh my God, we're going to see the art. We're going to...
Let's bring them in.
Please.
Hello?
There they are. All right. So, would the two of you like to describe what Hannibal and Drusilla see? Also, hello, audience. Say hello to our new players.
Hello.
Also, our new players would like to introduce themselves as well.
All right. I guess I'll go first. My name is Lindsey. You can find me on Twitter at Bubbles the Mermaid. And what Hannibal and Drusilla see is a tall, about like 6 foot high elf copper skin, long, like honey blonde hair, like fantastic eyebrow game. Just like dark, high arch eyebrows, the pointed ears, super androgynous looking, little gaunt for a high elf, piercing silver eyes. Their chest is wrapped in bandages and leather belts. They have this really long, tattered, dirtied, sleeveless trench coat with really nice gold detailing inside. And they are standing like right by the door with a spear in hand.
Cool. I love it.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kirkland. You can also find me on Twitter. I'm pretty sure I'm Lavender Gay over there. Yeah, sweet. I'm Lavender Gay over there. Yeah, so when they look at my character, they see a person who's about the same height as the other person in the room. Relatively pale skin and like very lustrous silver hair. The two things to like really jump out though would be the halo that encircles their head and the opalite eyes they have. And they're wielding their rapier.
Okay. And let's give the audience a recap, and also for our new players, Drusilla, so the two of you are standing in the room, and what just happened, if you remember what you were just doing, all that just ended. Certain things pretty much like just vanished. And the door behind you creaks open, and you see standing in the doorway.
So you'd see a little about 4'9" wood elf with I think I gotta pull Drusilla's art back up. I don't even know what she looks like, fam. So she's got red hair that's tied back in a bun with one side shaved. And in her hair, she's got what looks like a crow's skull with a bunch of like dried feathers and plants on it. She carries a staff with a carved eagle on the very top of it. And then her clothing is very simple and green. She doesn't wear any shoes. That's important. And she's got the big ass knife ears and a little scar above her right eye.
Okay, so the two of you turn around, the door opens, and that's what you see. Also, everyone appears to be at some level have some Gith heritage in them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the two of you turn around, and that's who you see. Well, I suppose you could see past Drusilla because she's. So you would also see Hannibal standing 10 paces back from the door. And what does that look like? Let's just get everybody out of the way.
Hannibal is 6'4".
Whew.
He is a slimy and scaly green-skinned Triton. He looks a lot like a mutated Triton mixed with a Gith. A lot of people think he looks more fish-like than humanoid. He's has
anglerfish, right?
Anglerfish-ish. He has no lips whatsoever, so his teeth are just constantly visible. He also has pointed ears, but he dresses a little fancy to kind of mask his horrendous appearance. He wears a he wears a sort of long, flowing Victorian-style frock coat made from red velvet. He also has a long, flowing, thick gray scarf wrapped around his neck. Beneath the frock coat, he has a buttoned-up purple cashmere waistcoat that holds a bandolier wrapped from his left shoulder across the right side of his waist, and the bandolier is full of various vials of strange materials and liquid. He wears a pair of black silk leggings held up by a pair of ruby red suspenders, and on his feet, to conceal their strange appearance, he wears a pair of leather knee-high boots with two white marble great white sharks coiled around the tips of said boots. And on top of his head usually sits a black bowler hat and a pair of tortoiseshell glasses that sit on the ridge of where his nose might be.
All right, so Hannibal and Drusilla, you open the door and you see these two standing inside, and Ilvem and Sid, you hear the door open and turn around and see them standing in the hallway.
Immediate spear to Drusilla's nose. Not to hit, but like to threaten, because you're at perfect spear level.
Easy.
Oh, Sid, I think these are the allies we were supposed to meet up with. I mean, the timing is pretty wild.
Names now.
Reggie.
Fuck off. I'm Drusilla. This is Hannibal, not Reggie. I'm just gonna turn back to Hannibal and say, what the fuck did I say? Stay quiet.
Hi, I'm Ilvem. This is my friend Sid.
We're not
Hi.
friends.
We're gonna be.
Oh.
I feel your pain.
Yes. So, you mentioned allies.
Yeah, we had it on some divine authority, I guess you could say, that people would be coming to help. We have friends we have to save. So maybe we could do that and then do the niceties of the interacting. Or we can do the niceties first. I really, whatever you want to do, I suppose. And then Ilvem's gonna kind of like step behind Sid a little bit.
How about if you really are allies, you come help us find our friends, and then I'll decide whether or not you can live.
You wouldn't kill someone with a puppy, would you? And I pull Moloch out of my coat.
Hannibal just like opens his coat up, and you can see from one of the interior pockets a very small black furred. Oh, we lost somebody.
We lost Rose.
Oh no.
Rose, no.
Hold on. All right, technical difficulties. I'm Drusilla. I'll just keep talking.
Yeah, if I rearrange the windows and she comes back, I'll have to do it again.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it'll just look weird.
Yep.
All right. Apologies, everybody. Technical difficulties. I'm Drusilla. So you see Hannibal just kind of opens up his coat, and you can see poking out like paws on the edge of the coat a very small black furred puppy with two big ears, but also two heads. It is a two-headed dog with black fur, and it's got like its ears are black, but like the fur on the inside is like this deep blood red, and it's peeking up, and both heads are kind of like sniffing in your direction when he opens up the coat.
Hannibal, was it?
Yes, that's my name, thank you.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I have no love for animal nor man, yet I would die for that thing.
So would I.
Well, then at least we can agree on one thing, and Sid will kind of take a step back and put the spear down.
Thank you.
You're welcome, I guess. Shall we get moving? We have work to do.
That was very good, Sid. Good interaction.
Well, Sid's just gonna walk out.
Okay, so you walk out past. You turn and you walk right past Drusilla into the hallway.
Are you coming or not?
Yeah, I'm coming. Let's go.
Okay.
And then Ilvem will do like the awkward shuffle past Drusilla. Like, sorry, I'm just gonna, like, my friend, I gotta.
Yeah, no worries, go for it.
Okay, and you can hear just the slight fluttering as the bird has left and is just flying back out down the hallway.
Drusilla, I don't even know if we should follow these people. I don't know who they are. They could be part of those greasy people. So.
Yes, but the way to get out of here is to follow them.
And then we kill them if they attack us. Okay, cool, and I follow.
If they attack.
I'm already walking away.
God, you are insufferable sometimes.
All right.
Follow.
So you start walking back down the hallway. It is a fairly long walk. This doorway you found, this cell was like deep into these caverns. Like eventually it was its own, like, branching pathways stopped happening and it was just its own single path leading down deep into the rock. Like you're a good distance underground here. So you have to make your way up. You have a bit of a long walk as you're all trudging along up this rocky stone floor.
As we walk, Sid's gonna turn to Ilvem. Who do you have to find?
I need to find Free, Victoria, and Kilgara. Do you remember them? I feel like most people knew them. Free was the tabaxi, you know, she got into a lot of trouble almost constantly, actually, is the thing about her. And then Victoria was kind of our leader. She's just a human. And I'm not really sure what Kilgara was.
Can we hear this conversation?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you're not a very big hallway.
We saw your
Tell them.
we saw your tabaxi friend.
Did you see where was she?
They were getting pulled out of a bush by one of those big things and dragged along the ground. They dead. Dead. That's how I do it. I looked at Drusilla. I tell them, right? That's a good thing to do. They know their friend is dead. It's a relief for them. They don't.
Ilvem just starts like crying,
Oh,
In a
don't
like
have-
immediately.
In a strange show of emotion and compassion, it is going to take Ilvem like one arm around the shoulders, one kind of on the back of the head, and just immediately pull him into a hug.
Yeah, Ilvem's just like it's like there's snot. It's like a full breakdown.
Mm-hmm. Sid's just gonna like hold you like a bit too close, and just like really like doesn't know how to hug. Like it's very mechanical, but he's trying, and he's very like rubbing your back, like there.
Yeah.
Did we just find another Hannibal and Drusilla?
I was going to say, I'm noticing a lot of parallels here.
Yeah. So Ilvem like eventually composes themselves and is like wiping away tears and it's like it's fine. Victoria can fix this. Victoria can definitely fix this. This is her whole thing. She's very good at this. We have to find Vicky.
Do you know where she would be?
The last time I saw her, she was in the potion brewing place.
Well, we already
don't wanna
checked
get-
there.
I don't want to get
What
your
was
hopes
the-
up.
What was the breathing thing?
You might
Breathe deep. Count to 4. In through your nose, out through your
I
mouth.
tell them, Hannibal.
Yes, tells them that the potion room is going to explode and everyone's going to die. Yes. Yes.
We didn't see any survivors when we came in, so that's not to say they're not still alive. It's just
Okay.
it might not.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
it's a good thing I didn't hold this up to Baxi.
Breathe, Ilvem.
I'm
Breathe.
gonna. Let's walk. Let's
Alright.
go, please.
I have one area that we can check for one of my friends. Perhaps if they're alive, it's better to have more allies. And Sid's going to, still kind of keeping like a hand like on your back, Ilvem, like kind of. Like it's very hover hand.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is going to start walking slowly, not necessarily stealthing, but just keeping an ear out. Walking, heading toward the yoga grove.
Okay. Well, so you're going. You have to get out of the caverns first. So you're still walking through there. You eventually get up. And you start approaching the training pit area with all the like weapons and everything strewn around and on the floor. It is more empty, much more empty than when when Sid and Ilvem passed through here the last time.
I need my longbow.
Where's your longbow?
I don't know. I'm gonna go look for a longbow.
Okay, so you just go kind of sifting through the wreckage and everything, trying to find a longbow.
Yeah.
You can. There's like an archery target range, so you can make your way over and you can find the weapon rack appears to have been shattered at some point. Everything is scattered around, but you can find a longbow that you can inspect and check for cracks, and it's fine. You can string it and pull back on the string, and it appears to be completely functional. You can start gathering up arrows from the ground too, and putting those together.
Great. How many arrows do I have?
I don't track ammunition, so enough.
Oh,
Perfect.
I will stop tracking my ammunition then.
Oh, yeah, I don't. Especially since you'll be spending enough time near it. I'll let you know if there's a time when it becomes an issue. If there's a weapon that is specialized ammunition for something, like if you have a firearm, then you'll need to track it because you'll have a limited number. Or if we get into a situation where you are a long way away from civilization for an extended period of time, and we go into sort of like a survival mode type thing, then we'll need to start tracking it as well. But I'll mention if it needs to be tracked. Assume default is don't worry about it.
Cool.
Okay, so Ilvem is picking up air. You kind of have to, with everything knocked over, you pick up like a quiver and kind of have to be like finding them one at a time and checking them for cracks and putting them in and gradually kind of gathering your own arrows. It's a nice mechanical, mindless activity that you can do for a second and just let yourself, keep your hands busy.
Mm-hmm.
Sid's sort of keeping watch while Ilvem goes out searching, just keeping a distance and looking around.
Okay. Hannibal and Drusilla?
Making sure none of those big gray guys are wandering down.
Okay, so you're keeping watch too then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Going to see if she can't find some arrows and help this new friend.
So you go over and just start finding arrows and hand an arrow over to Ilvem.
Occasionally wiping a tear away.
Here you go.
Thanks.
I'm not good with emotions. Hannibal, help me.
I don't have emotions.
Okay. I think I'm good. Let's find Mayna, Sid.
I have an idea, actually, Drusilla. Death happens to everyone. So don't worry. One day you will be dead too, possibly, and we'll all be dead, and we'll all be rotting. And don't worry if any of us die prematurely, and I'm still alive. Your body will get some use as I harvest it for materials.
Hannibal, that's enough. Thank you.
As Hannibal is saying these things, you don't really have time to respond because over in the middle of the sand pit, you see some of the sand start to kind of swirl up into the air like in a spiraling trail around a point. And then there's this purplish energy kind of coalesces like out of nowhere, just fades into existence like it's being pulled into a center point, and then expands outward and the sand kind of gets scattered. And as that happens, there's a slight flash, and standing at the epicenter of that, you see someone that all of you recognize.
Ugh.
Arena?
No.
No.
Very tall, grim-faced,
no,
cape
not
around the
him.
shoulders, and all of you see Grantar standing in the kind of materializes, eyes closed in concentration as he appears.
Oh, what are you doing here, Mr. G? We're having such a great time, and then you've showed up.
I'd like to aim my bow. Just knock an arrow and aim.
Okay.
Spear is at the ready.
Okay. When he opens his eyes and looks up at you, his eyes are solid white and brimming with purple energy at the outsides.
Oh, ray of sickness.
Okay. Then attack roll.
Yeah.
So Hannibal-
Natural 1.
all right.
Fuck.
You fire you are taken aback by this, and you fire it off to one side, and just not even anywhere in the right direction, just way off to the side, and hits a training, like flies over the shoulder of a training dummy. Does not even successfully hit the training dummy. And as Grantar opens his eyes, you see him do something that none of you have ever seen him do before, which is smile.
We're going to die, everyone. This is
What is
death.
going on?
His
Mr.
face
G, what are you doing?
spreads into a wide, toothy grin, and he says, "Hello, children."
This changes all of my plans that I've had since the beginning. Oh, no.
I
Mr.
see,
G, what's going on?
Mr. G. That is the name you called him, isn't it?
What do you mean call him?
Drusilla is your name, yes?
Yes. What do you mean by it was the name we called him?
Shit.
He sort of like stretches a little bit and extends the arms and says, "This body will do quite nicely."
I'm gonna shoot my arrow.
Okay, roll the attack.
This is bad.
It's an 11.
Yeah, you fire the arrow at him, and as you release, he puts a hand back with he's moving in very fluid motions, but in a sudden rapid, sharp movement, his hand just reaches back and grabs the greatsword off his back, and he swings it in one motion and just bats the arrow out of the air. He just goes, "Naughty, naughty, Ilvem."
I wish
A step closer to him.
He says, "Now, just like this one has done, soon all of you will join in service of your proper masters."
And who is that?
Oh.
Oh, you don't know? It's a shame how these people do not teach you their history.
I didn't care for the history.
Can Hannibal get an idea of what's going on based on his research that he's done?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. We bow to the illicit, oh great overlords.
Hannibal, what are you doing?
Just let me speak for a second, sorry. I had a plan in my head. That this is great. This Grantar has been taken by the illicit, so I think we're fine. I actually wanted to broker an alliance with the illicit and wipe out the Gith Enclaves and kill Grantar. Well, not wipe out the Enclaves, but kill Grantar, because he's bad man.
You wish for an alliance with us? Tell me.
Well,
have you ever ridden a horse before, or used an ox?
For material purposes, by dissecting them.
Would you form an alliance with an animal?
Depends
Yes.
on the animal.
I would.
You see, your kind are like animals. You are not allied with. You are broken and made to serve.
I don't serve anyone.
You will.
No, I won't.
Oh, I have a very bad idea.
Such
Hannibal, keep it in that brain of yours.
Such enthusiasm, such confidence. You see, Grantar thought that he wouldn't serve anyone either. And now, here he is.
How?
Do they not teach you of us, little one?
How tall is he's real tall?
He's not. He is between the heights of Ilvem / Sid and Hannibal, somewhere between those two height ranges.
She's gonna step closer to him.
Okay.
And just be like, I might be little, but I think I have something for you to fear.
What is that?
How close is he?
At this point, probably like 30 feet away.
Oh.
He was like in the middle of the pit.
Well, I can't show you from back here.
Well, I have no interest in whatever it is you want to show me. Instead, Instead, I say, kneel now and surrender yourselves, and the process of scooping out your minds and replacing them with a more amenable one will be more painless than it would be if you resist.
Hannibal kneels.
No. Drusilla steps closer to him, still standing.
Okay.
Sid would like to stealth and try to get behind him,
Okay.
moving very slowly the entire time he's been talking.
Okay. Roll me the stealth check.
We're gonna use this one.
Oh no! What am I doing?
Oh, that's not. That's that's not. It's not.
Oh,
That's-
what am I doing?
That's a solid 10. Is what
Okay.
that is.
All right. Okay. All right. So you're making your way along. Ilvem, how are you doing?
Definitely not kneeling.
Okay.
Ilvem's gonna fire again.
Okay. Roll it.
It's also a 10.
Yep. Another just bats it aside with a sword. Hasn't put it away yet.
Oh, I did something really bad during my long rest, and now I regret it.
So only one of you has the sense to kneel, then.
Oh no! Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing
You
this?
won't hurt him.
No, let him come over. I want to pledge
Hannibal?
myself to him. No,
No.
let me do this.
No. I made a promise I would protect you.
Just let me do this. I have plan.
When have your plans ever gone right, Hannibal?
This one will go very well.
No.
Please, Overlord Illicid, please. And I stand up and start walking towards him. Please, take me with you.
Hannibal? No. Just gonna try and pull him back. No.
Take Moloch, and I give her Moloch.
Okay.
And I approach Grantar. Just,
All right.
why did I make one of these during my long rest? I made another one.
Hannibal.
What you
So, Hannibal no longer has his returning light hammer because he ended the infusion on it.
Okay.
He infused another one of his pouches
Okay.
into another item.
All right.
And I'm gonna just get right up to Grantar, like
Mhm.
face to face. I'm gonna pull out
Okay.
my bag of holding,
Okay.
and I'm gonna pull out the second bag of holding I made during my last long rest.
Okay.
Hannibal.
And I'm
No.
gonna put it in the other bag of holding and open it.
Make me a strength saving throw. Sorry, actually, let me double check. That.
Yeah, me too.
Strength saving throw.
Placing a bag of holding inside an extra dimensional space destroys both items and opens a gate to the astral plane. The gate originates where the one item was placed inside the other. Any creature within 10 feet of the gate is sucked through it
Yeah.
to a random location on the astral plane. The gate then
Michael
closes.
leaves for 1 week.
Sorry, strength check, not strength saving throw.
Sure. 6.
Okay, so you go to do it, and then you can't move your hands closer together, and Grantar's
Fuck.
other hand is just held up. And you can see that purple energy
Mhm.
wreathed around his fingers. And he says, "Did you really think you could deceive me?" And then he just throws his hand to one side, and Hannibal lifts up off the ground and just goes soaring through the air into a table.
I tried.
And yeah, you just go tumbling across the ground, you crash into the table, and it lands over, sending everything on top of it scattering to one side.
Just gonna put Moloch down and be like, go get your dad. Go get your dad.
And he just goes running across the sand.
Scoop him up from the back of my coat while I'm laying down, just like,
Drusilla's gonna go up to him.
Okay.
I'm gonna get within 5 feet of him, and I'm gonna try and take out his knees with my quarterstaff.
Go ahead and roll the attack.
Please let me do this.
oh man,
Where's
imagine
my
if,
quarter?
imagine if I succeeded on that. Fuck.
It's a natural 20 for a 22.
Okay. You come up to him, and he was looking to the side. He wasn't even really considering you, and you just come up and just swing the quarterstaff. So roll damage for the quarterstaff on Grantar.
Bless.
Is it too late to say I was doing it two-handed?
I assumed you were doing it two-handed.
Okay, all right,
Like,
cool.
yeah.
My heart was
For
racing.
us.
My heart was racing.
7 damage.
Okay, that was with the crit?
Oh, right. No,
Double
so
the die.
it's double the die. Okay.
Mhm.
8, 12.
Okay, so you come up, just kind of drop down a little bit and just swing and whack right into his knees, and he goes down almost. He goes down. He catches himself. His knee almost hits the ground, but then he stands himself back up, and then begins to float slightly off the ground, and then says, "So be it then. You've chosen the difficult path."
I didn't. I was trying to go somewhere secret.
Well, perhaps I'll have another show you what true servitude looks like. And he holds up a fist and closes his hand, and you can see that same coalescing purple energy about 40 feet behind him. Much, much larger, though. Like, the coalescing energy reaches almost to the ceiling as, like, arrows and broken bits of tables swirl around before there's another flash of purple energy, and then you see a approximately 25-foot tall, gray-skinned humanoid that has to, like, hunch with the seat, like, under the ceiling. Its eyes also solid white with the purple energy rimming around it. And it just looks at him and just goes... He says,
Oh, fuck.
"Kill them." And then Grantar vanishes. And the stone giant
Oh,
turns its attention to the four of you.
I almost did it, everyone. I just want to point out I almost did it.
By this point, how close is Sid to like the other side of the arena?
Which side were you trying to go for?
I was trying to get behind.
You probably made it almost all the way there. So you're actually very close to the giant then.
Oh, God bless, because I would like to... I have my spear. I would like to run forward and wielding it in both hands, so I get that sweet, sweet versatility. Give it a little stab.
Okay.
In the back of its ankle.
All right. So I make the attack roll, and then I think it's time for everybody else to roll initiative.
Yep, here we go. Natural 20.
Wow.
And that's a flat 20.
Wow.
I have a plus 0 to initiative, so just a 20.
Oh, he messed up something fierce.
Man.
Nope, that's a big nope.
If I succeeded, that would have been so
7.
good.
But you didn't.
That would have been something.
That's a big heckin' nope.
Okay.
That's a 7. That's a big heckin' nope.
But I don't have my returning hammer anymore.
I also got a 7.
Okay. And what'd you say?
That was a 7 to hit. My initiative.
Oh, right.
My initiative is 17.
Okay. And then what did Drusilla get?
15.
And what's Ilvem's dexterity modifier?
+2.
Roll again real quick. Never mind, actually. You tied with the giant, but I'll say player goes first. Right.
I mean, if you insist.
Yeah. I'll say I'll just err on the side of the player for ties. Okay. And let me get this down.
Oh man.
All right. So Hannibal. So Sid runs up, takes the spear in two hands, and stabs at this thing. And your spear just like glances off its leg. Its flesh is like it's made of stone, and it just glances off and barely leaves a scratch. And it looks down at you.
Oh, fantastic. Do I get a bonus with that, or was that just the attack?
I suppose you can get a bonus action still, yeah. Because
Okay.
it's part of like a surprise round.
Bonus, the arms are coming out.
Okay. So Sid stabs at this, Sid stabs at this thing, and then it glances off. The giant looks down at Sid. Sid looks back up at it, and then there's a moment of concentration before two golden spectral arms that are both like 10 feet long sprout up from his shoulders with like these long claws on the end of them and like bangles down the entire length, and they just kind of float there in the air over his shoulders.
Actual help.
Is that
All right.
I think I know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
And that will make it Hannibal's turn.
Half movement to get up.
Yep, because you are still prone, laying in like the wreckage of this table.
I dust myself off. Did I take any damage from that?
You did not. No, telekinesis does not do damage.
And I'm just gonna crack my neck. Like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna look down. Is there like a table leg near me? No, I'm not gonna do that. No, I'm not gonna do that. That would be a waste because that never works. I'm gonna lift up my gloved hand and cast Ray of Sickness again,
Okay.
and pray that I actually roll good and hit. 12.
No, so you fire off this ray at it, and it just bounces off its tough hide and does not manage to make it actually do anything sizable to this giant.
And now I'm out of first level spell slots.
Great.
How far away? I'm going to move forward 15 feet. Light hammer in my right hand, sickle in my left.
Okay, and towards the giant?
Yeah.
Okay. The giant is actually, by the way, the giant is standing in the direction that you all came from, by the way.
Cool. Yep.
All right. Sid, back to Sid again.
Okay, I would like to same goal, different tactic. I would like to use the arms to bap the stone giant's ankles.
Okay, you can actually you can reach up with because they're coming like off your shoulders and they're 10 feet long. You can reach up to like its midsection with them.
Oh, bless, we'll do that.
Okay.
We'll go for the tum.
All right. Attacking once or attacking twice?
Attacking twice.
Okay.
That's a whiff for that one.
Okay.
That was a 3, so that was 8. Second, please, for the love of God, thank you. That is that's 23 to hit.
Yes, that does hit. So the first one, you go and try and stab at it with your claws, and for the first time, the Grimlocks were fighting, the claws just sank into them with like no issue. This time you stab up and like the claws don't, like you're pushing and it's like not going in. And then the second time you reach up and you focus your energy again and you manage to plunge the claws up into its side.
Bless. That would be okay. 6 points radiant damage.
Okay. All right, and that'll bring us to Drusilla's turn. So you've got Sid is right up next to this thing, has manifested these two golden arms and is like clawing up at it with these. Hannibal fired a ray off and it just ricocheted off its stony flesh. That brings us to you.
First of all, hard eyes at the arms. Like those are, ooh, love 'em. Hard eyes. How close is the stone giant to me?
It is 40 feet away from you.
40 feet away. Okay. So she's going to move.
Mm-hmm.
But while she's moving, she's going to cast Flame Blade. So a fiery blade appears in her hand that she's not holding. She'll put the quarterstaff away.
You could have it appear at the end of the quarterstaff.
Oh, fuck it. That'd be great.
Because that's your spellcasting focus.
Hell yeah. So the bird is replaced by a fiery blade.
So the bird like bursts into flames. and then a giant blade of fire just erupts just off the top of your staff and turns it into like a giant flaming glaive.
So does that mean my reach is different?
That's the same reach. Because you have to hold it pretty close up in order to channel the magical energies into the top of the staff.
Okay. So I'm gonna move my full 35 feet to get there, and then we'll stay.
A 35-foot move speed?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Wood elf. Yes, I forgot. Wood elves get higher speed. I keep forgetting you didn't go with halfling, especially because of the height.
Mhm.
Okay, so you move up 35 feet. So there's a 5-foot space between you and it. And oh yeah, is Flame Blade in action?
It's a bonus action.
Okay, so you still have your action.
Can I hold it? Or if it
Uh,
comes toward?
you can, yeah.
Okay, so if it makes any motion towards me and gets into that 5-foot space between us,
Okay, we'll swing. All right,
I'm gonna
that'll
give
bring
a
us to.
heckin' poke.
All right, that'll bring us to Ilvem.
Awesome. I would love to cast Bane, please.
Ooh, okay. So that is
Yes.
what kind of saving throw?
It is a charisma saving throw with a DC of 30.
Oh, you know it's great at charisma, and it got an 11.
So it
So
failed.
it is baned.
Ha ha ha. Okay, let me mark that off. And then for my bonus action, Ilvem will yell towards Sid and just be like, its blood is yours. Kill it. And you can take a D6 inspiration die.
Bless you, baby.
Yeah, bard.
Okay. Then that will bring us to the giant's turn. The giant is going to reach down one hand and just try and grab Sid. So, Sid, either an athletics or an acrobatics check to avoid this grapple.
Oh, I will take that acrobatics. Please do not screw me.
Oh no.
Hell yeah. 22.
It got a 29.
Yeah.
It just reaches down
Oh.
and just was that acrobatics? So Sid like cartwheels out of the way. Its hand just follows and like
Oh my
this is Sid. It's just like nope, and just picks you up in one hand.
Oh, this is
And,
how I
Oh,
want to
no,
go,
it's
guys.
gonna do
It turns and looks in Hannibal's direction and just takes Sid
fling.
and just
Yep.
overhand throws
Mhm.
Sid at Hannibal.
Yep.
It got
Fling.
yeeted.
Feels good, guys. Feels good.
Hannibal's gonna get killed by this thing.
That is 23 to hit.
I have a 12 armor class, so yes.
What,
Oh my God.
Is that with Bane?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Let me.
Probably.
So sorry. The original. Sorry, because of Bane, it would have been a 27, not a 29.
Yeah.
And it was a 19 to hit, not a 22.
Still
Oh,
hit.
well, that
I'm
makes
sorry.
all the difference.
It really does. It really does.
It still hits. Still hits.
All right. So
Oh my God.
it is not the full rock damage because Sid is not a boulder.
Yet.
Are we sure about that?
The boulder.
You don't know. You have no idea.
That is 11 bludgeoning damage to both of you.
Oh my
Oh.
God.
That is more than half my hit points.
Oh,
Picks
Lord.
Sid up
Oh, Lord.
and just overhand hucks Sid end over end and just slams it into Hannibal.
And now I have.
Hannibal, give me a strength saving throw.
Oh, I'm great at those. That is a 2 + 2. That is a 4.
Bam! You're both prone next to
At
each
least
other.
I'm consistent rolling really bad for Hannibal.
That's true. That is true.
Oh my God.
All right, and then it turns its attention to Drusilla, who is 5 feet away from it.
I have 9 hit points now.
Yeah. Just as a reminder, the opening and exit is behind you. It is not between you and the exit.
Mm.
Just in case. Just in case. you're wondering.
Angry.
Just in
Well.
case.
Just you know. That will make it Hannibal's turn.
Yep. Half movement to get up.
All right. So you push yourself up. You kind of push Sid off of you.
And I'm like, alright. You guys, I don't think we're winning this. You guys run. I think I can hold it back for a little bit with some powerful magic. And I'm going to use my second level use of Control Air and Water.
Okay.
Triton. And I'm going to cast Gust of Wind and try to hold him back.
Okay, so you're just gonna you can maintain that and move actually too.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay. Oh, so you're just gonna like stay at the back and
like kind of just push him back. He needs to make the line is 60 feet long and 10 feet wide.
True. Let me just check something real quick.
He needs to make a strength saving throw. Or be pushed 15 feet away from you in a direction following a line.
You are correct. All right. I thought this was one of the spells that had a size requirement, but no, it continues anything. So yeah. All right. So what saving throw is that?
Strength.
Okay. Well, it's not actually. It's not proficient in strength saving throws.
Great. My DC is really low, but it's probably gonna succeed. What?
Come on, natural one.
Please.
Got a 13.
Come on, Bane.
The DC.
Wait.
Please.
-4, so that's a 9.
It fails. My DC's 12.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So
God bless Bane.
Hannibal stands up, and the casting of this actually would look different because it's not your normal. This is your innate racial magic as a Triton.
It is.
So this is not the like normal practiced motions, like practiced exact motions that you're used to seeing Hannibal do. This one's probably more more natural.
Can I flavor this really cool though?
Go right ahead.
I kind of want like fog to like well up in Hannibal's eyes, and then he just raises his hand up without even looking, and just the fog and wind kind of just out of his eyes and hand just towards this giant and just slams into it. Just.
All right. So in a very kind of chill motion for Hannibal, his magic is very intense and focused. Just in more of a relaxed motion, Hannibal holds up a hand, his eyes go foggy, and then this just like foggy tornado comes erupting out of his hand, sending sand scattering into the air as it hurtles towards this giant, slams into it, and pushes it back. Let's see, strength saving throw.
15 feet.
It pushed back 15 feet, so it's like trying to resist, but its feet are just sliding back along the ground until its back hits the wall, and it's just trying to resist, but its feet are just sliding along the sand and stone.
And it has half movement when moving towards me.
Yep. All right. So that you only use half your movement. So do you want to use the other half to do anything?
Yeah, to walk closer.
Okay, so you're just pushing it against the wall, basically.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so you're just holding it up against the wall with this gust of wind.
Yep.
That is Hannibal's turn. That'll bring us to Sid. So you're laying on. You saw this from like right up close. You were laying on the floor, like, blink up, and you see Hannibal do this, and then step closer to it.
All right. Sid is going to get up from prone. It's half movement, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So gonna get up and then gonna use the remaining 15 feet to book it to the exit.
Okay. If you want to use your action to dash, you can also do that to move an additional 30 feet.
How far away from me is Ilvem right now?
Ilvem is probably like 20 feet away. And actually, like, in the direction of the exit, too. Because Ilvem is the furthest back, because Ilvem firing with the bow.
Okay, yeah. Then I'll action dash.
Okay, so you basically you pass Ilvem, who is standing there with the bow out, and just cast Bane. Then that'll bring us to Drusilla. You were standing 5 feet away from it, and all of a sudden this gust of wind burst from one side of you, like sending your like hair and robes like whipping in the wind and kicks sand up in front of you, and then the giant is just slowly pushed back away from you. So now it's 20 feet away, and you are outside of its reach.
But I'm stubborn. I'm going to get in there.
You're going to get affected by the...
Oh, you might get hit by the gust of wind if you move too close to it.
It's the line's 10 feet out from the giant as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That'd be bad.
That would be bad. Just for good measure, we're going to drop the flame blade.
Okay.
It was good while it lasted. So drop concentration on that. Can I get within 15 feet of it and not be affected?
You can, yes.
Then that's what I'm going to do. And just for the hell of it, I'm going to second level Thunder Wave.
Whew.
Okay, so it is already back up against the wall at this point. It can't be
I'm
pushed
aware.
back any further. Okay.
I just want to do the damage.
All right.
Yeah.
That is a Constitution saving throw.
Yep.
All right.
Man, this
Yep. Bane.
my mental image makes this look so cool. Just,
So that is 14 on the Constitution saving throw.
Just makes it. Just makes
You
it.
step up and massive wave of thunder erupts out, echoing over the cacophonous sound of wind coming from Hannibal.
So full damage was 15, so it takes half of that.
Okay. All right, so it manages to resist, but it still gets basically punched in the stomach by thunder and blasts back. It's like trying to reach forward for you, but having a hard time pushing against the wind. It's blasting back. You can like see the wind basically with all of the sand and the kind of like slight amount of fog coming from Hannibal as well. You can like see this burst of wind striking in the chest and like peeling around it to push it up against the wall. Okay, Ilvem, you're seeing all this. Kid just books it past you towards the exit.
Yeah. So bonus action, Ilvem is gonna yell out to Drusilla and be like, that was really cool, but maybe we should be going. But also like that was cool, I guess. So you can also take a D6 of inspiration. And then they're gonna turn and run. But as they pass Sid, they're gonna release a cure wounds.
Okay.
Aw, baby.
Come up, pat Sid on the shoulder as you pass.
Yeah, it's very much like a whoomp. 10 points of health back.
Oh, bless. Thank you.
Okay. Then that will make it the giant's turn.
yeah. It needs to make a strength saving throw.
Right.
Start of its turn. Yeah. With
Okay.
pain.
Yes. And it's either way, because the strength saving throw... Okay, let me just refresh. So,
Each creature that starts its turn in line must succeed on a strength saving throw or be pushed 15 feet away, but it wouldn't be pushed.
Okay.
It'd just be like, yeah.
so it actually, yeah, it can't be pushed anymore.
Yeah.
So, actually doesn't need to make the save.
Yeah,
really,
it's
because
true. Yeah.
back.
It's up against the wall, yeah.
Because either way, no matter what, if it fails the save or makes it, it still has half movement.
True. Yeah.
Or so it like the gust is pushing him against it. It's pushing against the wall. It gets its hands like against the wall and uses it to push itself forward and slowly starts to march towards in Hannibal's direction. So it moves forward 20 feet,
Cool.
which is going to bring it up basically right next to Drusilla. And yeah, it's going to do second verse same as the first. It's going to reach down for Drusilla.
Acrobatics or athletics?
Yep.
Oh no.
Please, God.
What'd you
How
get?
does a 10 sound?
Well, it got a natural 20.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
On this, though, it doesn't do anything extra. Bane was a -4, so that brought it to only a 28.
Mm.
So
So
Drusilla,
a 10 beats it?
so this giant hand just reaches down and picks you up, and it's going to try and remove the source of the wind by throwing Drusilla at Hannibal.
Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense, you know?
Going bowling.
Yep. You gave him a projectile.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I saw this going poorly in no foresight. I did not see
I
this
wish-
going poorly at all.
I wish Ogden Boone was here to do portents.
yeah. With the Bane. With Bane, that makes that an 11 to hit.
Mm.
I have 12 armor class.
So you are
Bless.
you've got this up. It throws Drusilla at you, and like you kind of like angle yourself and turn so that actually make me a dexterity since it misses you. What's your spellcasting modifier with your racial abilities?
What do you mean?
Like what is the modifier that determines your saving throws for that one?
Oh, my spells and stuff?
Specifically the Triton ones, like the gust of wind you're holding.
It doesn't say. It's just like a flat. Oh, it's a flat DC of 11.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't say abilities.
All right. We'll just call it wisdom. So make me a wisdom check really quick.
I'm gonna check real quick though. I might say.
Maybe.
Oh, charisma.
Oh, okay, great. Make me a charisma check then.
13.
Okay. You manage, so it throws Drusilla at you. You manage to duck to one side, so like you angle the gust of wind, so you kind of catch Drusilla in it as she's coming towards you. And she does not hit you, she goes sailing past you, but you also manage, like, since you catch her in the gust of wind, it slows her down. So Drusilla will take reduced damage from the fall.
Only 37 points of damage.
So it was reduced by a die step because you didn't hit Hannibal, or it was reduced by a die because you didn't hit Hannibal and you're landing in sand. And then Hannibal halved the damage, so would have been 11, so you take 5.
Okay. And
So
so
you just
got the benefits of a long rest before this, right? Even though she didn't
you
sleep,
did,
or okay.
Yes, you did, yeah.
Okay. All right.
You're an elf, so you could meditate.
Dope.
So yeah, it throws you at Hannibal. Hannibal manages to dodge and deflect you off to the side and slow you down. So when you hit the sand, it hurts, but you're not.
Oh.
It's not as bad as it could have been.
Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Okay, that was the Giant's turn, and that then brings us back at the top with Hannibal.
Oh, this is going to be such a bad idea. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Oh, this could be so bad. Alright, would you say using a spell scroll would cancel out concentration?
I don't think it does, no, because it just counts as casting a spell.
Cool. As Gust of Wind, that's happening, I'm going to take out the spell scroll that I still have remaining.
Okay.
And with my free hand... Actually, no. Like a Koopa, like a Bowser or whatever from Mario, the old school Mario games, I'm going to spit a fireball out of my mouth at 3rd level.
Okay, because you don't have fire. But you need the scroll, right?
I have it with me.
Okay, so you need to hold the scroll and read off of it to do that. But
okay,
but you have a free hand. You can reach back and pull it out.
Pull it out with my free hand, and I'm gonna try to.
Yeah, you can I suppose you can pop it open. Yeah, you could pop it open and just put it into the gust of wind so it unfurls in the wind.
Yeah,
and then
the fireball's gonna soar through the gust of wind.
Okay. All right. What is your spellcast? Roll me a spellcasting modifier check.
Yeah, I gotta read how this works again.
I think you need to beat a 13.
The DC equals 13. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Please work.
11 plus intelligence. Is it a saving throw or just a check?
It is just a spell. Your spellcasting modifier is a check.
That is a 13. Right on the money.
Exactly what you need.
Oh, okay. Fireball! And it's got a plus 7 to hit.
All right. Well, it's a fireball, so it just rolls a saving throw.
Oh yeah. So the DC with a spell scroll. I have it right here. Yep. DC's 15. It's a dexterity saving throw of 15.
Okay. So let's add Bane into that. Minus a 3 makes that 14.
So the DC was 15, so it takes full damage from that fireball.
Full damage. Yeah.
Oh!
Bane is the Ilvem is leaving and is still the MVP.
So that is that's 8d6 fire damage.
Yep. So as this happens, you basically unfurl you're holding up the.
Oh, this is so metal.
You're holding up the gust of wind with one hand, and you unfurl the scroll into it. And as you do, it just kind of disintegrates and burns away into an orange light, which then you can spread your fingers and just kind of exhale the fireball out between your fingers. And basically,
so good.
I will call this Hannibal's first spell combo. Because I allow for spell combos. If you combine 2 spells, they do interesting things. Since you're casting a fireball into a gust of wind, rather than being a blast radius, you basically cast it into the stream, and the 60-foot line erupts into fire.
Oh,
and
cool!
It carries a cyclone of flame straight forward into it, concentrating the blast directly forward. Same damage and everything, but it turns it from...
Oh yeah, it would have eradicated my Maybe my
It turns it
friends.
from a blast radius into just a line.
Okay, cool. So let me do my math here.
So remember, in the future, if Hannibal ever, or if you have someone else, you can combo this. If anyone can cast Fireball, or you cast Fireball with Gust of Wind up, you can turn it from, with both spells, you can turn it from a blast into a line, originating from you.
And if we die, at least we get style points.
I'm trying to see if my math's correct. Yep, that is 39 points of fire damage.
Whoa.
Ooh!
Okay, all right.
MVP. MVP.
Oh,
So
that felt
Hannibal,
good. That felt
yeah,
good.
holds up a hand, casts a spell, and just this cyclone of fire, just the gust of wind, that whole line just turns into a cyclone of fire that slams into the giant's chest, and it does not manage to, it does not successfully manage to dodge out of the way because it's basically funneling it straight towards it. And I gave it another, that was cool, so I gave another strength saving throw, and the blast of the fireball actually causes it to lose its footing from the gust of wind, and it gets pushed back another 15 feet as well. As it just, like, fire slams into his chest and spills around it, scorching its skin.
Nice.
I can do that once. That was it.
Ever. Until you get to 5th level. Okay. Hannibal, that's your turn. Or did you want to do anything with your movement?
I have a bonus action still.
You do, yes.
So, no, I don't want to change the direction of the wind. Oh, ball sacks. Where's everybody else? Like, everyone, Ilvem and Sid left, right?
They're yeah, near the exit. Drusilla's like right next to you on the floor. Or kind of like behind you, because you dodged out of the way.
Hey.
I'm gonna
Covered in sand.
step 5 feet closer and make sure, like, Drusilla can get away too if she needs to.
So you keep yourself with
Yeah.
At the edge of it's a 60-foot line?
It is a 60-foot line of wind.
Okay.
And
So
10 feet wide.
Right. So you're just keeping it so it's at the it's
giant.
right at the end of it. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Sid, back to you.
Okay. How far away is Ilvem from me?
Like 20 feet ahead of you.
20 feet ahead. How far away is Drusilla?
Drusilla you've moved away, so probably like 50 feet back behind you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Sid's just gonna full movement and dash. Like, just keep running.
Just book it out of here. All right.
Gone.
All right. Drusilla, back to you. So Hannibal just let out a just column of fire in a way. He was like, I didn't know his spells could do that.
Whoa.
Hannibal's over here like innovating new spell combos.
That's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna have to put a cap on that somehow. Because we all know what happened last time he tried to innovate a spell. Poop grease.
I do allow for spell innovation. Just because he rolled terribly the first time doesn't mean it can't be done. I encourage it, actually.
And how far is Hannibal from you? Like 10 feet?
Hannibal's like 10 feet in front of you, yeah. And he's holding the giant at bay with the gust of wind, which it is 60 feet away from him.
Okay. Half movement to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Dust all the sand off. And then she's just going to walk up and place her hand on Hannibal's arm and give him a little cure wounds touch. Just be like,
Nice.
let's go, brother.
I have 9 hit points. Let's do it.
The parallels are truly wild.
You get 11 back.
Oh, that's what I lost. I'm back at max.
Okay.
Let's go, brother. Let's get out of here.
Just a minute. You take Moloch out of here because you still have Moloch.
No, she let Moloch go over to you. Moloch is just like at your
That's
feet.
right. That's right. I scooped him back up in my coat actually when I was prone.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. No. Yeah, you start going. I have another plan to keep this guy not chasing us. It's fine. I'm fine. Did you see what I just did? It was so cool.
I did see, and it was pretty cool. But I'm not leaving here without you.
Okay, I'll be right. I was gonna be right behind you anyway, but okay.
Okay. Is that it for Drusilla?
Yep.
All right. Ilvem, still running?
Am I within 150 feet of the giant?
You are, yeah.
Okay, then I would like to shoot the giant.
Okay, so you just like lean. It's a little like you're kind of going around a corner from it, but you're still just like in the barest line of sight. So go ahead.
Yeah. Nope.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of you fire your arrow and it gets caught into the gust of wind and just kind of gets scattered off to one side.
Like, oh god, I'm usually really good at this. All right, let's go. And like we'll run after Sid.
Okay. That'll bring us to the giant. Strength saving throw.
With Bane.
Yep, that's going to make a difference. That's going to make a big difference because we rolled 4 on the Bane. So that would have been a 14. So it's a 10.
Fails the DC.
All right, so it's pushed back 15 feet out of the gust of wind. So that's so it's now 75 feet away from you, and it's going to spend. Okay, so then it moves the 15 feet up. Gust of wind hits it, and it starts trudging forward. So it makes it 10 feet closer, and then into the gust of wind. So it's 50 feet away from you, and then it's gonna move. It's gonna spend the dash action to move towards you. Moves another 20 feet closer, so it is now 30 feet away from you, halfway up the stream. And that'll make it Hannibal's turn.
Yep. Drusilla, just go. I have a plan, and no one's letting me do it. And balls. 10 feet closer.
Okay. So it's now 20 feet away from you.
And maintaining gust of wind.
Okay.
And I'm gonna hold an action if you'd let me.
Okay.
If it gets close enough to me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna drop concentration on gust of wind and by casting another concentration spell with my control air and water, and that's gonna be fog cloud, and I'm gonna cast it on myself.
Okay. It's because so if you move, based on what you've seen, if you move closer, it will then have a its next movement will bring it right up to you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So if it goes like make an attack against me, basically, I want to pop off fog clouds, so it's the area is heavily obscured.
Okay, so it'll be heavily obscured, but because I'll let you know just so you know, if it goes make an attack against you and like it knows what square you're in when you do it, it will be able to make an attack, but it will be at disadvantage, but it will still be able to make an attack.
That's fine. That's just my plan. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that'll bring it to that was Hannibal. Sid, still running?
We gone.
All right, Drew. Hannibal has moved up closer to the giant.
Damn it, Hannibal! I made a promise to protect you.
I can protect myself. Look what I just did.
At least give me the dog.
Can I just give her Moloch?
Moloch is sticking with you. Moloch is like, she's behind you. You'd have to like take him.
True, that's right.
If I move up 10 feet, can I get the dog? Can I move up beside Hannibal?
Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Get Moloch, and then use the rest of my movement to go back towards the exit.
Okay. All right. Ilvem, still running?
Yes.
All right. Out of line of sight. All right. Giant's turn.
Yep.
Let's see how that strength saving throw goes. This will determine if it can attack Hannibal this turn. Wow. Bane. That would have been, that would have been an 11.
Oh, nice.
But it's a 7.
Yeah.
So it's pushed back another 15 feet, so it can move up 20. So it can get adjacent to you, but it cannot attack you.
Nice.
So I don't know if that is enough for you to want to drop the fog cloud, or if you want to keep up the gust of wind.
I'll keep up gust of wind.
Okay. That'll make it your turn then.
And it's like right beside me.
They're right next to you, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
you're looking up at it, you're holding the gust of wind right at it and pushing it back, but it's like right there in front of you and just like straining forward against the wind.
oh no. I have 2 ideas. Both are equally awful.
Okay.
No.
Oh,
We
hey,
love character death.
hey, Zed, big guy. Have you ever seen the inside of a bag of holding?
I think Drew said for that. I think there's a radius on that. I
There
think Drew
is.
said,
It's 50 to 10 feet. She'd be. Oh no!
Yeah.
Wait. She took Moloch and then went back. Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Oh man. All right. Yeah. Okay. Give me a minute. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Oh, that's right. In the meantime, let me send because Sid and Ilvem, the 2 of you have basically made it to the mouth of the. You've basically made it to the mouth of the cavern, and as you do, check chat.
Yeah. 10 feet. Okay. Okay. I'm ready. I think.
All right. One for you. One for you. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I got it. I got this. I got a plan.
Okay. What are you doing?
So the gust of wind is still up. It's a concentration for 1 minute. I don't think it's been a minute yet.
No. Getting close, but no.
It's getting very close.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to. Oh man. Yep, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna drop concentration and do fog cloud
Okay.
on myself.
So the gust of wind ends, and then a cloud of fog just erupts and just expands out and pushes past Drusilla and obscures the entire area.
Yep, and that's my action. I'm gonna stand my ground and just tell Drusilla to go, and then I'll be right behind. Go! I'll be right behind you. I promise. This fucker can't kill me. I am powerful. And that's my turn.
Okay. All right, that'll bring us to Sid. Still running?
Hold on 1 sec. I sent you something in chat.
Oh, so you did. Huh. Same question that Kirkland.
Iconic of us.
Mm-hmm.
Iconic. Nevermore an iconic duo. So I'm at the exit. How far back is the arena?
I think it basically took you two turns of movement to get back.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're basically right at the exit, so it would take you 2 turns of movement to run back. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanna get I want to try to get within 120 feet. So would that be 1 round of movement?
1 round of movement could get you there, yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, Sid will just kind of like stop mid-run, take a second, and then just immediately bolt back.
Okay. So you bolt back. Actually, 1 movement. So you would, if I know what you're trying to do, I think that you would have an action. You would still have an action and be within 120 feet.
Okay. God bless. So I run as I'm yelling to Ilvem, "Stay here," and I just run. I get within 120 feet, and I want to cast message to Hannibal.
Okay.
It's time to leave. Let it follow us.
Okay.
You can respond. You can reply to that message.
You
Yes.
can reply to this message.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And that's your turn.
Mhm.
Drusilla.
We're getting this dog out of here.
Okay. He's gonna turn
Action,
and run.
Movement. Yeah,
Okay.
just run.
You make it out of the fog cloud. Ilvem, you're at the mouth of the cave.
Okay, great. I am going to listen to Sid. I'm gonna move back maybe 10-ish feet, just get a more advantageous position.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take out my flute and start a very loud ditty so that it is very clear where I am.
Okay. That'll bring us to
Yep.
Giant's turn.
Yes, it will.
Okay. Is it? Yeah, there's a cloud of fog in front of it. It saw you. Oh, how's it feeling? How is it feeling? Feeling throwy or smashy?
Come on, you big asshole.
Let's make that. Feeling throwy, so it's going to roll for the grapple. So it rolls the disadvantage because it's like reaching around in the mist for you.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. What'd you get?
Oh, acrobatics or athletics?
Yes, acrobatics or athletics to avoid.
Athletics is a 19.
Wow. Okay. So you do manage to avoid it. It got a 17, so it was with Bane actually.
Yeah.
You managed to avoid it. Then its second action or second attack part of its multi-attack, it's just gonna swing a backhand through the fog.
Sure.
So it's gonna just attack with disadvantage. Okay, so Bane.
Probably still hit.
Yeah, it's a 16 to hit.
That hits,
With
yeah.
disadvantage and Bane.
Whack!
Okay.
Oh no.
Please. Please, I don't want to lose another sibling.
All right, it does 18 bludgeoning damage.
Oof, I'm at 2 hit points.
Bam! Smacks you with its backhand. And then it moves.
I need to make a concentration check on Fog Cloud.
Yes, you do. So DC 10, because you didn't take more than 20.
It's Constitution saving throw, right?
Yeah, yep.
16 plus 4.
Yep, you made it. So Fog Cloud keeps up, and you can just see its general shadow, because you can like see this thing's shape in the fog cloud for the most part.
Yeah.
You see it move 35 feet past you.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And after Drusilla, you see this thing just emerge behind you from the fog cloud, just like fog peeling around it. I think it might be taller than the fog cloud, actually. Like its head is poking up over it as it just follows towards the entrance.
Cover Moloch's eyes.
Hannibal, your turn.
I'm gonna... Oh, no. Oh, this is really bad. Yep, this is really bad. Yeah, this is really bad. I'm going to throw my light hammer at the back of its head, and it's no longer a returning light hammer either. So it's just
Okay. Just roll the attack.
Yep. Nope, that's a 6.
Whiffs past its ear. So you see a hammer come flying over it, out of the fog, over its shoulder, and hit the ground. Technically, that even should have been with disadvantage because you can't see out of your own fog cloud.
Sure, let's do it. Nope. Still 6.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna use my movement
Okay.
to get 30 feet. Where does that put me?
That puts you 5 feet behind it.
Oh, piss. Okay. Yep.
All right. Sid, you can hear the thumping footsteps getting closer and closer.
Okay, rad. I'm going to turn back around
Okay.
and head back to Ilvem.
Ilvem
And
is
sort
just
of
shredding out a flute solo at the entrance.
hot. Nice. It's gonna take a minute. Just stand there and like nod. Just like Yeah. And then I want to kind of like move off to the side by the entrance and just sort of like back to the wall, like waiting.
Okay. Drusilla. Still running?
Yeah.
All right.
Especially now that we got the big stone boy after.
Yep. And are you double moving?
Yep.
All right. So you're just running out of here. This thing, Ilvem, your turn. Just still shredding out the flute solo?
Yeah.
All right. All right, Giant. It begins to double move after Drusilla, and it is catching up because it is a 40-foot move speed.
Oh.
So slow it because you're at 35. So it is. It was 5 feet away from you, Hannibal. Now it is 85 feet ahead of you.
I end concentration on fog cloud.
Okay, just fog cloud just ends as it's just gone. It's just running up the cavern.
Is there an action to end a concentration spell?
No, I think you just stop concentrating.
Okay. Yeah, do that.
Okay.
I'm gonna move forward, pick up my light hammer on the way,
Mm-hmm.
and then movement action, dash action. So 60
Okay,
feet.
you're catching up to it.
Yep.
You're running behind it, but this thing, it's doing this like slow motion run, but each of its footsteps carries it like 10, 15 feet.
I'm running with 2 hit points.
Okay, just you're running. It's like your whole side hurts because it basically like its hand, which is almost as big as you are, just collided with you.
Yep.
All right, Sid, you're still at the entrance. You gonna do anything other than just appreciate the flute solo?
How listening in on the footsteps? How far away does
it is you guys can probably see Drusilla just like running towards the entrance, and you
With
can
a two-headed dog.
a two-headed dog in her hands, and you can hear the footsteps like coming up behind her.
Okay. Is it possible to like try to hide and save an action to hit the stone giant with my arms as soon as he's within range?
You'll have to. Hiding is an action, so you'd have to hide this turn, and then like if it passes by you, or if you get another turn before it shows up, you can stay hidden and then ready the action.
I'll just take the action to, or I'll ready the action to attack.
Okay, and you're still standing like inside the mouth of the cavern.
Just outside.
Oh, just outside. Okay,
Yeah,
so there's
like
like
cavern and just outside.
Okay, there's like bushes and buildings and stuff out there, and there's like a pretty decent sized opening right outside. So you're standing right out there, and you've got your arms ready. Okay, Drusilla, still booking it.
Still booking it. Can I
Yeah,
hear
this
the
thing's
sweet flute solo now?
catching up behind it. Yeah, you can see Ilvem just rocking out on the flute. You can basically, if you double move because you're 35, you can basically make it up to the mouth of the cavern now.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. Just like, this is no time for music. Keep going.
Ilvem, that brings it to your turn.
I would like to stop playing the flute and knock an arrow to loose it when the stone giant comes into view.
Okay, and are you standing inside the mouth of the cavern or outside of it?
I'm about like 10, 15 feet out.
Okay, all right, so the two of you are standing outside. All right, Giant's turn. You two, Drusilla, you come running around the corner, and then there's just like a, and you see the giant come running around the corner. It starts to get to the entrance, but it has to like duck down and kind of like crawl forward a little bit because the cavern slopes down to be about 15 feet tall at the entrance. So it actually needs to like hunch and squeeze to get out. So it's basically right at the entrance now, just in front of both of you. So not within Sid's reach yet, but Ilvem, you would see it and be able to loose the arrow at it.
Natural 20.
Okay.
Get it.
Double dice plus modifier. So you're just standing there with this arrow knocked as it's crawling towards you, face coming. You just fire an arrow right in the eye.
I just rolled an 8.
Wow.
8, so 16. 18 points of piercing damage.
Ouch. All right.
Nice.
So you fire this arrow right into its eye, and it's like crawling forward, and one of the hands is reaching up towards you in your direction. Next turn, it will exit the cave. Hannibal, you are back.
How far back am I from it?
It was like 15 feet ahead. You're like 105 feet behind it.
Man, even with my movement and dash. All right.
Yeah, it's fast.
Oh, man. All right. Move and dash. 60 feet.
Okay, just running up behind it. Sid, it is clawing its way out of the cavern.
Okay, rad. I am going to close the distance so that it's 10 feet away from me.
Okay.
And I'm going to use my arms to bap its eyes.
Okay. Roll the attacks.
Okay. Don't fail me now. Okay, that's good. That's pretty good.
And don't forget you have inspiration.
And I have inspiration. Thank you, baby.
It's true. And you can add it to damage as well if you hit.
You can.
Whew. Whew. Okay, that is 21 to hit.
That does hit.
Boy, howdy. Let's do that. I know how to play D&D. Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll take that extra point of damage. 8 radiant for the first hit.
All right, you bring your claws across its face. Manages to get its eyelid, its stony eyelid closed, but you do like leave a couple of glowing scores across its face and pulls out of the way.
Let's do the other one. Woo! Not so good. That is 14 to hit.
No, it brings up its forearm, and your claws strike against that, and bats your hand away.
Gross, but at least I did one.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that.
All right.
I can move away?
You can, yeah, because you have reach. So yeah.
Okay.
Back up.
I will back up.
All right, Drusilla, you've just gotten out of the cave, and this thing is like right behind you, crawling its way after you.
How far away from me is it?
It's like 10 feet. No, it's like 15 feet behind you.
15 feet. Okay. I'm just gonna back up.
Just get away from it. All right, get out in the open.
Away. Protect the dog.
Okay. All right. Is that just protect the dog and back up away from it?
Yeah.
All right, Ilvem.
I will shoot another arrow.
Okay.
Okay, not as good. Yeah, it's just a 13.
Yeah, it ducks its head down. You like hit it on the top of the head, like its forehead, and the arrow just glances off.
And I'm gonna save my bonus actions for this round.
Okay. So it has to it brings it to its turn. It has to squeeze and pull itself free. So it takes pretty much its action to drag itself. It kind of has to lay down prone and drag itself out. And then it pretty much spends its movement and then half of its movement standing up. So it walks 20 feet out into the open after having spent its action to just pull itself free of this cavern. It barely fits, but now it stands up full in the daylight, towering over the opening to the cavern with the mountain behind it, looking down at all of you, now more or less within reach. But now that you got it out into the open, a ready to action is going to be taken. As Ilvem and Sid, the voice you heard whisper to you as you got to the entrance, says in a much louder tone that all three of you outside can hear, "Get behind something." And then from up on the mountain behind one of the rocks, you see a shape come out, a very large shape come out from behind one of the rocks and then just plummet straight down on top of the giant for a grapple.
I'm sorry, what?
What is happening?
Giant's going to try and resist with Bane. Yep, okay. So the giant comes out and steps forward and is looming over you and does not see as a large, not quite as big as the giant, but still large, much bigger than you, red, scaly shape with wings, comes streaking straight down and strikes it in the shoulders and tackles it to the ground as what appears to be a young red dragon bears down onto its back, flames coming out from its mouth and nose as it tackles it to the ground and is going to bite.
Yep.
Did we finally get some dragons in our Dungeons and Dragons?
You what, mate?
Well,
What is happening?
Is this what a stroke feels like? What is happening right now?
Sam, quick question. What the fuck?
All right, so
I'm crying.
Oh yeah, that hits. Oh, that definitely hits.
What the fuck? And Hannibal gets to miss all of this because he's so far behind.
All right.
Oh my god.
He's not going to believe us. We're like, yeah, freaking dragon just came.
So 18 piercing damage plus 4 fire damage for a total of 22. All right, so yeah, it lands on top of this thing and sinks its teeth into its neck. As it does, you can see like a little bit of fire breath comes out in the bite and scorches where it bites and is now holding the giant down to the ground. All right, Hannibal. Still running?
Movement and dash.
All right, you get like almost to the entrance, so you can see now the giant laying face down on the ground, struggling with a young red dragon perched on its back, sinking its teeth into its neck.
What the hell is happening? Oh. Yep.
So that's all right. That's what you got. Sid, Drew, and Ilvem, what do you guys? I'm just gonna ask all three of you at once. What are you guys doing?
I would like to grab him and drag him back to the mouth of the entrance, mom-arming them with my golden arms.
Just send the arms out and just grab both of them and just pull them back into cover.
We're leaving now.
Okay.
What
All right.
is going on? Did you
As
two
we're
know
leaving,
about
I'd
this?
like to inspire the dragon.
Okay. So you call out inspiration to what do you say to inspire
Yeah.
a dragon?
I kind of just like yell out like a battle roar, and I'm like, "Rip his fucking throat out!"
All right. So the dragon, dragon and giant. I'm not gonna go through every single roll. The giant is you've all done significant damage to the giant, and the dragon takes full advantage of that. The dragon is at full health. So let's see. Yeah, the giant is like reaching back and trying to swat at this dragon, which does not do terribly well. The dragon sinks claws into his back, bites, and then is just like pinning this giant down to the ground and keeps like pushing it down and clawing at it and just ripping out chunks of flesh with its claws before it flaps its wings a few times and takes off into the air, looks straight down, and Sid, you have the presence of mind to take the Sid and Drusilla and pull them back behind a rock as just a cone of fire just streams down from its mouth and engulfs the giant, spreading out and like hitting some of the buildings and relighting them on fire, and a wave of heat just washes down the entrance as it just sustains its fire breath just down onto the giant's back, and after a second releases and comes crashing down next to it, and just kind of looks down at the giant for a second at its blackened, charred back, and it just notices that it just stays there laying perfectly still. And then the giant comes over, the dragon comes over, uses one of its claws to roll it onto its back, and then just leans down to its mouth and just bites onto its throat and just twists and yanks back and forth and pulls before dropping it back down its throat, just mangled and open, and satisfied that it's dead, seems to relax some and starts kind of rears its head up looking over the rooftops, and you can hear like footsteps and you can see some of the Grimlocks just running away.
What was that?
Oh, so I missed some stuff, it looks like. Oh, I'm in so much pain.
Can I go over to Hannibal and pump out a second level cure wounds?
You can. Hannibal like limps up. You can see just like whole body, like left side of the body is just a whole solid bruise.
Yeah.
Maybe probably some broken ribs in there too.
Like, oh my god, you look bad. Yikes.
That's rude.
Hannibal, he's trying to help you.
I can't do math.
Mood.
17 health back.
Oh, max again. Oh, no, wait, never mind. I meant one away from max. Ah, thank you.
All right, you're all convening at the top of the mouth of the cave, the dragon like stalks forward and moves into the camp, and you can see it just start hunting through the enclave. You see, as you're like healing up Hannibal, you see a Grimlock just go and like fly up into the air, and before the jaws of the dragon come up and bite it out of the air and snatch it into its mouth and start chomping away before it vanishes behind the buildings again.
So it don't goes that way.
Ilvem's looking overall pretty satisfied.
Also, there's Malek. Malek!
It's right here.
Back in my coat. That went better than I expected.
So the dragon's just off. Just
It's-
like left to go destroy more things.
It's out. It looks like it's hunting, but it's staying kind of in the central enclave area. Like it will range out and then come back into the middle. And it seems to be just trying to clear out the enclave, basically.
Is there anybody like around that's not us or a dragon?
You, other than like the Grimlocks, you do not see anybody now.
How far away from the Yoga Grove are we?
Yoga Grove is on the opposite side, like other side from the mouth of the cavern. So on the other side of the dragon.
Okay.
Well, I think I'm tapped out, so I might just have a little nap right here on this rock.
Is it safe
Do
here?
you wanna go check out your special spot?
Yes, but I'm not sure if we should stay here or get moving. And like for the first time you see Sid like genuinely afraid.
Understandable. There's
Like
a
you
fucking
see
dragon nearby.
you see actual emotion on Sid's face for the first time.
Ilvem's gonna be like, all right, we're gonna go check out your spot and then we can leave. Did you two wanna come? Do you wanna stay here? It's really your call, I guess.
I almost killed a giant. I wonder what else I can almost kill and stand up.
It's probably for the best if we stay together.
And hopefully we'll be able to find some of our friends.
Let's just move slowly, move stealthily.
I'm
Stay behind
so
me.
good at that.
And Sid's going to move forward, headed towards the grove, but sort of hugging buildings and trying to stick to the shadows and stay out of sight.
Okay.
Ilvem will follow Sid's lead.
Okay. Are Drusilla and Hannibal trying to stay out of sight as well?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. You hear the dragon like stop and then kind of flatten itself down to the ground as you're moving and then just turns in your direction. These dragons have blind sense. And just turns in your direction. You there. Come out here.
Okay.
Oh,
Hello.
I'm gonna argue with a dragon.
Oh, I'm coming out. Hey.
Okay. Yeah, it is about, like, you would say wagon size. Like, it's bigger than a horse, but not terribly by much. Like, maybe a large, imagine like almost like a large ox with wings, maybe a little bit bigger than that. It's very good size.
Drusilla.
Yeah, it's big, but it's, for dragons, it's not terribly huge. It looks fairly young. And you know, the dragon kind of eyes all of you as you come out. Blood red scales, yellow eyes, slit with a reptilian slit, kind of like almost like a triceratops like fringe that goes off to the side, lined with horns. And it's laying there. It's got blood is just streaked along its claws, and it does not look like it belongs to the dragon. And you can see freshly eviscerated Grimlocks lying around.
Love it.
Ilvem will step forward and be like, hi, my name's Ilvem. Thank you for the help. This is my friend Sid. And they gave me their names, but a lot's happened since then, and I'm not good at names.
Looks at all of you. I am Zenvaranth.
Can I get a spelling on that?
Sure. Because dragon names are spelled weird. XenVaranth.
Nice.
That's a long name.
Mm-hmm. Dragons have long names. And she will, looking at, will kind of sniff the air again at all of you and say, all of you smell like Grantar.
I guess you could say we are his children.
Unfortunately and reluctantly.
Oh, you guys are his children too?
I don't like to talk about it.
That means we're siblings.
No. What my
Either way, Grantar is my partner, if you will.
What
I
kind
carry-
of partner?
I carry him into battle.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were our mother.
No. Hannibal would probably know this the best.
Oh, okay.
Because you grew up in
Yes,
Groundcourt,
true.
you never left it. You would know that the Githyanki, specifically the Githyanki Queen, has a deal with. Actually, the deal is with Tiamat herself.
Oh, nice.
And there's a deal where youthful red dragons will serve the Githyanki as mounts and basically fight in their army. Usually it's as a way of building up. It's kind of like, it's almost like military service for dragons. Like you sign up for you sign up for a period of time, and it's once they get to a certain age, they kind of like age out, and they get paid along the way based on all the raids they participate in, and they accumulate a horde like as they're working. So once they leave their service, they get all of their pay as kind of like a starter amount for their horde.
Okay.
And they love spending time on the material plane because otherwise they live in the astral sea with the rest of the Githyanki, and they don't age there, which means they don't get bigger. So they love spending time in the material plane where they can age and grow.
So, speaking of Grantar, I think he has been taken by the illicit.
He has.
Oh, well,
How did that happen?
They caught him unawares and spent the night doing something to him. Ilvem and Sid, the spent the night part is strange to you because it was like, and as you're looking around, looking at the position of the sun and everything, it was late afternoon when you went into the cavern. It's morning now.
Oh, crap.
Like, to you, you went down there, you had your interaction in the cell, and then the door opened very shortly behind you. But it's been like over 12 hours.
I don't think Ilvem gets it.
Okay.
Sid just looks even more afraid.
Yeah, Ilvem's like, overnight? No. It's still light out.
It was when I noticed it was too late for me to do anything. There were 3 of them that had surrounded him.
was they the illicit?
Yes, the tentacle-faced creatures. Like she lifts up a claw and like does this motion with the claw in front of her snout.
Ah, yes.
I'm sorry we couldn't save him. But I have to admit, the next time we come across him, I'm going to kill him.
Do what you need to, though. From what I've heard, spending my time with the others of your kind, the process can be reversed. But she kind of just shrugs indifferently. Do what you need to.
How can it be reversed?
Who cares?
If he is captured, I understand that there is magic that can be done to restore him.
Oh, I know. Oh. But just say what I know about the process of what happened to him, possibly.
So it's not Ceramorphosis.
No, I know. Is it what I think it is?
It is thraldom.
Oh, it's thraldom. It's not intellect devourism.
No, it is not an intellect devourer. It is thraldom. So he has been enthralled
Okay.
by the illithid, and it appears as though, based on what they were talking about, your familiarity with thraldom would be basically that, like the giant, they are just completely subservient to the illithid. Like their personality and their mind has effectively been scooped out of their brain, and left with just blank. For this, it looks like. Therefore, and then it looks like they can also exert direct control through their thralls, like they were doing on Grantor. So since he was displaying some intelligence and speech, more so than a thrall normally can, it appears as though basically they can exert direct control, and he is interesting enough for them to do that. But you would know that you would have heard of thralldom, you'd be familiar. You wouldn't know the exact process of fixing it, but you would have probably read about the fact that there is one. You wouldn't necessarily remember it.
Cool. All right.
So yeah, the dragon will say, or Zenvaranth will say, so he's gone for now. My deal, I suppose, is with him. And since he is gone, I don't think that any among your people would argue that he is currently able of holding up his end of that deal.
True.
So as far as I see it, deals are hereditary, and if you are in fact his children, my pact is with you now.
Well. Yes, we are. I have been with Grantor since I was a wee lad. I grew up in the Enclave.
All right.
We have a fucking dragon now.
Do we have a dragon?
Moloch, what do you think of this dragon?
What does hereditary mean?
He's precious.
Sweet baby. And
Sweet summer child.
what exactly were the terms and conditions of your deal?
I will heed your call. Ask what you will of me. I'll see what I can do. If I'm able to hear you. I'm not welcome within most civilization. So I have to keep my distance.
In return for?
Traditionally, a cut of any raids that you perform. Anything I participate in, I take my share of the rewards, physical rewards, money, gems, items, shiny things. In addition to for you, I will be somewhat less picky in that regard. Am I to understand that you have no means of returning to the Astral Sea?
Oh, I remember they talked about the Astral Sea in the class. I should have paid better attention.
As it currently stands, we do not know.
Good. Then you are on permanent assignment here, and I will stay on permanent assignment, and I don't have to return.
And get really big.
Indeed.
Do you have a home, a place of residence, where you keep your hoard, where you stay, where we might call upon you?
My hoard is within the Astral Sea, but with the rest of my kind, it is being kept for me until such a time as I am free of my bond. But I have no home here. No, Grantar moved around quite frequently to these various enclaves of his,
I'm aware.
and I accompanied him. So
What if
I will have
we...
I will have to establish one.
Interesting. I was going to ask a very dumb question, but I think I'm going to not ask it anymore.
All right.
Have you seen any other survivors other than us?
I have not, no. There were others, more dangerous adversaries who I chased away earlier. I wanted to make sure they got a good distance away. I did not like the look of the claws they had.
Claws?
Metal ones attached to their hands, and armor as well around the neck. Sid and Ilvem, this would actually sound familiar to you. You were chased by something resembling that description.
I very much recall.
Mm-hmm. Is there nothing else, no one else remaining that you're aware of?
I could sniff around, but none that I'm currently aware of.
Well then, unless anyone else in the group has any other requests of you, then I would request that you do that. That you perform a perimeter check, make sure that there are no unsavory types left in the Enclave.
Mr. Dungeon Master.
Yes.
I have some books in my possession that make me have interesting questions.
Okay.
I have one, The Structure of the Great Wheel,
Okay.
which is about the planes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have Karzal's Demonology.
Correct.
Would I have knowledge of Tiamat more than usual? If she's in where, yeah.
Depends on what. Did you have a specific question in mind, or?
Basically, do I know what do I know what her status is?
Status, how so?
Like how she's doing right now? Where she is she imprisoned?
Is she happy?
Tiamat is not imprisoned. Tiamat is not on the material plane, though. Tiamat is in the outer planes with the rest of the gods as well.
Okay.
You would know that she's opposed by the Platinum Dragon god, the god of the Metallic Dragons, Bahamut, and that the two of you would probably actually know the history through your people and their relationship and the history that you had access to. That you would actually know something that many temples try to Bahamut specifically try and keep under wraps.
Here we go.
Were they banging?
Which is that Bahamut and Tiamat are siblings.
Oh. I regret what I said now.
Brother and sister, born of the greater dragon god Io.
Nice. Nice references, Sam. I'm going to ask a question then.
Okay.
What if we can find a way to bring Tiamat to the material plane?
Why?
Something fun to do.
Oh,
I suppose if you wanted to.
Alright, I just wanted to see what your reaction would be to that question.
Sounds like more competition for loot and money and hoard.
Okay, I just figured I said anything.
Is there anything else, or should I begin searching and hunting?
Could you also search for 2 people for me? Maybe? Perhaps? Mayhaps?
Sure.
Do you want their names or what they look like?
What they look like would be more helpful.
They're both half-orc, I think.
Oh, Reggie and Aja?
Yeah.
Well, she's just searching around this enclave.
Oh,
she's not searching.
Never mind.
You are hundreds of miles from the last place you saw them.
If you find any interesting alchemical stashes, I'd like to know about their location.
She points back in the direction of the cavern and says, something smells acrid in that direction.
Yeah, it's no good.
All right. And she, when like gusts of wind, like kicks up dirt, and you have to shield your eyes as she takes off into the air
Mhm.
and starts circling around and searching. Thinking back, actually, Hannibal, the shed. If you were to move carefully enough in there, things have been. Given that this attack happened yesterday,
Oh,
as long as you're careful and moving slowly, which you didn't have time to do before, but if you're moving slowly now, you would be able to pick through and see what still remains.
I
As
actually
long as
have,
you didn't like knock things over.
yeah, I have business to attend to real quick.
Okay.
Everyone, you're all very wonderful. My name's Hannibal. Just sort of bring a reminder, and I go back into the cave and head towards the alchemical place.
Okay.
Split the party. Split the party.
All right. So who's going where?
Can I cast locate object on Victoria's holy symbol, please?
Yes, you can.
I would like to take a moment to do that.
Okay. You do get a direction.
Okay. I'm gonna look at Sid and be like, there's a thing I want to check out. I'm gonna go do that. Is that okay?
I guess I'll come with you. Someone needs to keep an eye on you. Afterwards, we go to the grove.
Okay. Yes, let's do that.
Sid will follow Ilvem.
Okay. Drusilla, what are you up to?
Everyone's just going everywhere, and oh god, what a night!
The party.
I gotta go.
Okay, bye.
So, is there like trees around?
Oh yeah, there's you're kind of on the enclave is kind of on like a shelf, and then the slope continues down one side into a pine forest down one side.
Do I see any landmarks that would look familiar?
As in like where like things that you would recognize from
Yeah, from back home.
No, and you remember your forest being not mountainous.
No.
That was a sneeze. Try to mute those. Anyway.
This was like a quick dab.
Can I see over the top of the trees?
Some for it's they kind like where they grow up. You're kind of at like the halfway mark, so they still cover a little bit, but you can see like out in one direction. You can kind of see out over them for a ways between some of the peaks. And yeah, this looks like you're up in the mountains. It's very much a pine forest, and yours would have been more deciduous, I think, is the other one. Non-evergreen.
Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Coniferous is evergreen.
Yeah, coniferous versus deciduous. Yes, your forest was not coniferous.
And
Or
Hannibal went
carnivorous.
into the cavern. And
Yeah, he
those
went
two-
into the alchemy shack.
Drusilla's just gonna sit down at the edge of the cavern.
Okay.
Wait for Hannibal to come back.
Okay. So start. Hannibal, are you doing that thing that you get for your class feature?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
So I pull out the Gith head
Okay.
and I start flaying the flesh off of it.
It's not hard. It's been like rotting in there, and I think you've
Yeah.
fed pieces to Moloch too. So
Yeah, so I just peeled the skin off then. So it's just
Alright.
just a skull.
Okay. And there are like you can find acids and stuff that around that can help you with that. You move very carefully. You can assemble what things.
Can I find wings?
Wings. There's not really. Let me think. Actually, let me think. There probably are animal parts in here. So you can probably find like animal wings in here.
Like what kind of wings? Bat, bird, chicken.
Looks like bat wings.
Oh
something.
yes, what I wanted. All
Yeah,
right.
you can you spend some time kind of like arranging what things are, like carefully taking the supplies that are still usable and clearing off a workspace, and you get all of them together, and you have basically just enough materials to do what you need. In addition, and you supplement it with some of your own supplies.
So I take the Gith skull, put it on the ground, take these bat wings,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like weave them into the skull's like temple.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, I'm gonna put my glove on it
Okay.
and channel my artificer magic into it
Okay.
and create my first alchemical homunculus.
All right. So you have to actually you have to assemble some other things.
Yeah.
There's some other process that goes into it. Mixing together smell chemical reagents together to pour over it and affix onto it, and you there's some animal bladders involved, like in organs and pieces and bones and things that you have to attach in and sew together and create this little Frankenstein monster, so that things can move, because it is semi-mechanical because it's
Yes.
alchemical. Any of its movements do need to be supported by things. You're creating musculature and stuff for it. So it's not just animated by magic, and so it has this weird mottled texture to it. Parts of it are kind of green and glowing a little bit, as there's fluids that are pumped through it to sustain it and everything. Did you want to give it legs?
Let's say I'm gonna give it legs using the finger bones that I'd also had.
Okay. You also could find there's these brass drawing tools that are kind of this hinged arm thing that it can extend make an A-frame and move back and forth. So
make it look like it's a skull that when it has legs it scurries around like a spider.
Yeah, so you can find a bunch of those and attach them on, and then connect some of that more organic with musculature to it so it can move those. And, they can fold up underneath the jaw. And then you go through, you channel the magic into it to bring it to life, and the legs unfold, and it's unsteadily kind of picks itself up, and then the wings kind of flap a little bit, and then it takes off into the air. Kind of is looking around. The legs curl up and fold up back into itself.
You are gorgeous, Moloch. Look, you have a sibling.
And it turns and looks down at Moloch.
I shall call you Archimedes.
And it lands down on the table again, and then its legs extend out as it lands, and then it starts crawling,
this is so
skittering
cool.
around the table.
Almost like the spider doll baby head toy from Toy Story.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like that, but with
Yeah,
wings.
that's what I'm envisioning. Yeah, just the Gith skull, and then
Thanks.
I'm
I
like,
hate
all right,
it.
Archimedes, and I pat my
It's not a
left
human skull; it's a gift skull, so it's a little bit more elongated, and
Yeah.
the teeth are a little bit more pointed.
Archimedes, and I pat my left shoulder up.
It comes up, and the legs kind of wrap around, so they can kind of go down the front and back, and kind of hook over your neck, so that it's kind of secured on, hugging onto your shoulder.
And I regroup with Drusilla.
Okay. While you're doing that, Kirkland, keep saying Kirkland because that's what it says on your screen. Ilvem and Sid are going over. You're following your locate object.
Yeah.
Okay, you follow your locate object, and it doesn't take you too long, because that process was fairly lengthy for Hannibal. You follow the locate object along to one side of the Enclave. There's a fairly open area, and you find the holy symbol just kind of laying on the ground in the dirt. But both of you give me either perception or survival checks, or perception, survival, or investigation. Take your pick.
Uh,
12 perception.
Okay.
10 perception.
Okay. So, Ilvem, you focus on the holy symbol. You manage to find it, and you pick it up in your hand, and you've got her holy symbol, but you do not see her anywhere around. Sid, as you're looking around, you notice it's not quite really hard to notice that this appears to be laying in the middle of what appears to be a drag mark that moves a little further along the ground and leads a little further up.
I follow it.
Okay, it leaves kind of up around the corner of a building,
Mm-hmm.
and you can spot a couple more, several more drag marks, all leading up to this spot,
Mm-hmm.
where you just see a blank patch of dirt. But the dirt is kind of almost like Zen garden style. Almost like it looks like it's kind of been twisted up into a spiral almost, and then like almost blown outward as though there was like a gust of wind that extended outward from the center, kind of like flattening that. And there's nothing there.
Okay. Question, how long has it been since the fight with the stone giants started?
10, 15 minutes by now.
Okay, yeah, so arms are gone
Right.
at this point. They just kind of fade.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to call out to Ilvem. Ilvem, I think you should see this.
Okay. One will come like rushing up.
Okay, so you see the same thing. The all the like, if Sid points them out, you can see all the drag marks leading up to this area, and then that strange like circular pattern in the dirt that then looks like it was sort of gently blasted outward. Not like a bomb went off or a fireball or anything, but just like as if there was a gust of wind outward in every direction from that center point.
Does it remind me of what it looked like when Grantar showed up and also left?
Yes, when Grantar showed up, left, and when the giant showed up as well. That was a very similar motion with the dust and debris in the area swirling up and then getting blown outward.
Don't want to give you unnecessary hope, but it is possible that your friend is still alive.
I'm gonna hold on to that hope. Victoria's tough. Victoria's tough. We'll find her. I'll give her back her holy symbol, and everything will be okay. We can do this, right?
We can certainly try.
We can try. We should probably go check on the grove and then on those two absolute disasters.
Yes, I am worried about leaving them alone for too long.
Yeah.
Let's go. And Sid will kind of pat you on the shoulder as he turns around to go towards the grove.
Ilvem smiles.
Don't be so proud of yourself.
Starts doing like the whistle that we did when we walked up the mountain that one time.
Like yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that didn't take too long. Hannibal has a very lengthy process in there making this thing and doing some stuff. Like Hannibal's taking like probably like an hour or two to do this.
Oh yeah.
So the two of you make your way across the Enclave. Drusilla, you can see them, like they come back into your line of sight. It's actually very nice and relatively peaceful up here. Like you're up in the mountains, it's quiet. Now that the fighting is over, you can hear like bird song returning and like the sounds of woodland creatures and wind blowing through the trees, and it reminds you of actual home.
Zilla's gonna take out her sending stone, and even though she knows Aja can't hear and she can't cast it, she's gonna essentially just recap what just happened as if she were speaking to Aja.
Okay. Well, you can use, so you don't need sending to use the sending stone. You can use it.
But the sending stone was buried.
Yeah.
Elsewhere, so she knows.
I buried it in front of a tree and carved like Aja or
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you can still send to it. You don't have to just like, you can if you want to, just in case.
The spell fails if no one else is holding the other one.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay.
So she's just gonna talk into the stone.
Unless a squirrel is holding the other half.
Okay.
That squirrel's gonna get like what? This ain't a nut.
All right. So then, Ilvem and Sid, you make your way over to Sid's secret yoga spot.
Super secret yoga.
Super secret yoga. As we get closer, Sid's going to take out his spear and just sort of ready it and just cautiously approaching.
Okay. You make your way down. Again, it's like this really weird rocky descent that's very uneven footing. Ilvem, you're probably having difficulty with this as your first time down. Sid, this is very practiced motion for you.
Mm-hmm.
The two of you can make your way down, kind of hook around this some rocks, and you are just down the hill from the Enclave, sheltered by some trees in this flat, mossy, grassy area where light comes in through the trees very nicely here. It's fairly peaceful. You can hear the sounds of a creek nearby bubbling along. Makes perfect sense why you do yoga here. You see no signs of conflict. You see no bodies. You see no blood. You don't really see that much disturbing the area.
Oh, no footprints, no messages, no anything left behind.
If you want to take a look around, give me an investigation check to see how much you find.
Okay.
Can I join in?
Yeah.
Are we both making separate rolls, or am I?
You can either make separate rolls, or one of you can aid the other and give advantage.
I'll aid because I have a +0.
Okay, all right.
I have a +0 too, so it's fine. So we have an advantage. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. 14.
Okay. You're looking around and you manage to spot footprints. There's a lot of them because the two of you come here fairly frequently. You're able to identify which ones are kind of the freshest. Hard to tell exactly the movements because it's been like pretty much a full day or nearly a full day since these footprints were made. So it's hard to tell how recent they are or anything, but you do spot some footprints moving outside of where the two of you normally go for your yoga. And that leads you over to a tree where when you go around when you like kind of lean around it, almost on like the side where you're nearly falling off the edge of this into the further descent of the hill. You can see carved into the bark of the tree just an arrow that points down the hill and down the mountain away from the Enclave.
She might be alive. But I don't know how fresh this is.
It kind of looks like she got away. So if she managed to get out of here, there's very little chance anything managed to fight with her, you know?
We really don't know that. Don't know how far she could have gotten, but I would like to follow this, but perhaps we should go back and reconvene with our allies, I suppose.
Yes.
All right. So you head back up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you head back up. Drusilla, you've been sitting there recapping. Finally, about this time, Hannibal emerges from the alchemical shack and has this strange bat-winged skull with metal spider legs and like weird alchemical reagent-filled sacks and bladders and organic bits sewn onto it, just like perched on his shoulder as he comes out.
Hannibal.
Hello.
What is that?
This is Archimedes. Archimedes? I'm gonna have Archimedes kind of hover above my shoulder for a couple seconds and then land back on it.
Why?
Oh, because he
you
can.
have that.
Because he can be very useful in the scrap. Archimedes, acid spit that wall.
And the mouth of the skull just like drops open and then just fires a stream of acid out of one of a stream of acid out of one of the like collection things you put in there. You put in some things that actually continuously produce it with the magic instilled in it. So it just like opens it out and out of a spout, just like a 30-foot long stream of green acid sprays out of its mouth and hits the wall and like melts a bit of the stone.
He can do other fun things as well, but I think I'm going to keep those as a secret.
And you two, the other Sid and Ilvem, you come up around the corners and see this weird bat-winged skull thing with metal spider legs curled up underneath it, flap up into the air, and then fire a line of acid at the wall, and then come and land back on Hannibal's shoulder.
Gonna knock my bow and just take aim and be like, what? So much has been happening.
Oh, this is Archimedes. He's my alchemical homunculus.
Well, I've put up with so much of your
I've
shit.
just created him.
This is unnatural.
But he's going to be very useful in a scrap, right, Archimedes?
So he can't really make noise
Nope.
terribly much, but like he makes the teeth chatter together. It's like,
I
Remind
hate
me to give you a way to speak.
Yeah, Ilvem's
thing starts
disgust is very
speaking,
plain
it's
on their
gone.
face. Sid, I don't like it.
Hannibal, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm impressed, but also, what the fuck?
Okay, fine. If everyone's going to be so negative about it, watch this. Archimedes, I would like one of your alchemical salves, please.
what does that one do?
This homunculus produces a salve and touches one creature you designate. The target receives one of the following magical benefits of your choice. And I'm going to go with inspiration on myself.
Okay.
The target feels giddy and effective, getting advantage on certain ability checks in the next hour. The target chooses the checks before or after rolling. The magic runs out.
You said there was a salve? Was what that was?
Yeah, you can do it 3 times a day.
Okay, so it lands on top. It like lands on your shoulder again, and it opens its mouth, and it's like got multiple nozzles in there that you've attached, like made of like parts of like the chemistry set, basically the things that, like deposited the liquid, and it just you attached it onto like a rotating thing, so it just and turns to a different one, and then just squirts some out onto you, and then like takes one of the spider arms and just kind of like rubs it into the back of your neck, and yeah, you feel great.
So yeah, for the next hour, I have advantage on certain ability checks that I choose, and it runs out after I've done it twice. Like so, as much as my intelligence modifier, so twice.
Okay. Yeah, you feel
Leaves
fantastic.
for
That feels
one
great.
day.
He can do other things. He can make people buoyant and give you a flying speed, and he can also heal you. So he's very useful.
Just keep it away from Moloch, please.
Moloch, what do you think of Archimedes?
Yeah, they're like pulling themselves out of your coat pocket, like sniffing up at him on your shoulder. It looks like they haven't quite decided yet. Still trying to make up their mind.
He is your sibling, Moloch. You two will get along quite well.
Just because they're siblings doesn't mean they'll get along.
Exactly. All right, I feel great.
You do. You feel fantastic.
I'm gonna look to the sky. Is the dragon still flying around?
Yeah, you can get occasional glimpses of her like launching off from a rock and taking a sweep around, and then going back up and landing back up on top of the like further up the mountain.
Okay.
Also, Ilvem put Victoria's holy symbol and attached it to their belt.
Okay.
It's a symbol of Ilmeter.
Okay.
Well, I have a lead that I would like to follow. It leads down the mountain.
Yeah, sure. Or yeah, sure. Whatever you guys want. Just do whatever you guys want.
Perhaps we
Farthest we can
should.
get away would be best.
Perhaps we should scavenge for materials, food, anything we might need to take with us. I don't think we'll be coming back anytime soon.
True.
Was this your home? Was this where you lived?
No.
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry that you have to leave it in such a state of disrepair.
It's okay. It's like Hannibal said, everything rots eventually.
That's true. That's true. That's what I said. We're all gonna be rotting corpses eventually.
I didn't think it would happen, but I actually agree with Hannibal.
So you got to live and get to move on. And I'm gonna wander over to the giant's corpse
Okay.
and cut off like a nice sized steak.
Okay. It's hard. Its flesh is very hard and stony. But you
cut
can
off a little piece then.
you can peel back part of where the dragon scorched its back, and the skin is more brittle there, and you're able to just peel some back and you can get underneath it.
Here you go, Moloch. It's a little snack.
Bite onto it. Also, Hannibal, give me a really quick, as you're looking at this giant, give me an intelligence check with proficiency for your alchemical knowledge.
Okay. Only a 12.
Okay, I'm looking for a 10. Looking at this thing, you realize this is a stone giant, and stone giants are rare, and you think there might be a few alchemical formulas that make use of stone giant parts.
Can I take some stone giant parts?
You could. In particular, you remember that the main one you don't remember the uses for much, and you wouldn't be able to just take like one of everything because they're big.
Yeah.
But the easiest thing to take, you remember, is that giant toenails, unfortunately, are very much used as one of the primary ingredients of potions of giant strength.
Hannibal has a hard time finding things disgusting, so he's just going to start peeling off the toenails.
Okay, he's going to start ripping off giant toenails.
They're potion reagents. I can make very powerful potions with these, so I need some.
What if we left without him?
Honestly, I've been thinking that question for the past 2 years.
Ugh,
If I just
that's
left
very
him behind.
unsavory.
When I pry the biggest one off, I want to like bite it like a coin to see how the quality, just like chomp, chomp, chomp.
Yeah, it's tough. It's hard. It's like biting. It's like a flat piece of shale.
Excellent, thank you. And I gather as much as I can, put them in my
Okay.
bag of holding, and then. All right, let's go.
Okay.
How many would you say I grabbed?
I'll say you're able to get all 10.
Cool.
Question
Yes.
about the Enclave. Was there any sort of like area where like everyone's rooms were?
Each squad had their own like building, basically. Like you're their own squat stone built, like one room building, basically.
Okay. And was there any sort of administrative building where the who ran it?
There would be, there's a couple of places within the cavern, particularly a couple places where the handler stayed, and then also, of course, Grantar's study.
Okay, so Grantar's study, where the handler stayed. Unless there's any objections, I would like to pretty much ransack the place, if I'm being completely honest.
Oh, I am.
Starting with Grantar's study, moving on to the handler's rooms, and finally the squad rooms.
I'm very okay with raiding Grantar's study.
I want to see what little secrets Mr. G has been hiding.
This is like kind of like it's a little sneaky of us. Like, can we actually do this?
Is he going to stop us?
No.
We can do whatever we set our mind to.
Oh, I've never really broken the rules before.
Me neither. It's fun.
There's no rules to break if there's no one here to enforce them.
See, that's also true.
All right.
Why would you say that in front of Hannibal?
I've got your back, Sid.
And Sid's going to start heading off in the direction of Grantar's study, I guess.
Okay. You can go. Yeah, it's one of the side branches in the. It's one of the side branches in the cavern. You get to the front of it, and you notice that the like stone around the door is hanging open. The stone around it is scorched black. It looks like the inside was lit on fire.
Okay. Sid's going to kind of peek in
Okay.
carefully and just see if there's anything left.
Everything looks blackened and burned, but also like aside from that, things are on their sides and flipped over and opened as well that a fire wouldn't have just done. So it looks like the place was already ransacked. And given that Grantar is a thrall of theirs and mind flayers can like see memories, very likely that anything useful and interesting was purposefully removed for their purposes.
Okay. On to the handlers' rooms, I assume.
Similar situation. It looks like this. You find a couple more dead handlers. Both of you spotted yours fighting out in the Enclave. I think you saw both of them fall. But you find a couple more of them from the other squads that here. There was like 2 or 3 more squads that lived in this area or in this Enclave. And you find their handlers dead inside. Looks like they were in their rooms when the attackers showed up. But it's hard to tell exactly because the rooms were burned with them in them. And you hope they died before that.
Okay. Next on the list, on to the squad rooms.
Okay. So you go ransacking through the place. It looks like the gray-skinned creatures, the Grimlocks, had been pretty much roaming around this place in packs for the entire night. Things are pulled open, knocked over. You'd have to give this place a very thorough combing over to find anything of use. Anything that smelled like food, for example, was gone. Looks like they just went around and they just had a feast, and they tore through everybody's possessions and just smashed stuff when they found stuff that they couldn't actually eat. Like, you see teeth marks on a few things. Like, it looks like there's you see one of the other people had like a wooden flute that has teeth marks in it. It looks like one of the Grimlocks actually tried to eat it, and then when they couldn't, they just threw it off to the side.
Same.
So the place has been pretty thoroughly ransacked. And again, this amount of ransacking and searching would have taken like 12 hours, further reinforcing the fact that Ilvem and Sid, you were down in that cell for the entire night.
It's still not clicking.
All right. Well, then I guess that's it. There's nothing left. Perhaps we should go notify the dragon,
Zenvaranth?
Zenvaranth, that we will be making our leave.
Wunderbar.
Are we gonna ride on a dragon?
I don't think we all could fit.
Yeah, it doesn't look big enough for all 4 of you to ride.
I would prefer to stay on ground, not up in the air.
Agreed.
Fun. I don't know.
It'd be fun
Regardless.
until you fell, and then you would.
Oh, I have
What?
wings.
You have wings.
Sometimes. One time I did. I don't know. It was weird.
Could you fly with them?
I think so.
I'm just gonna look at Hannibal and just look at the.
I wish I had wings.
As you say that, Archimedes' like mouth opens and the nozzle inside turns to the the buoyancy salve, and its head kind of like turns to one side questioningly.
Ah, yes, Archimedes. You can make me fly. That is correct.
It was kind of a questioning, just like, oh, would you like to fly right now?
Hold off on it right now, Archimedes. I'm still feeling pretty great.
Closes the mouth again. Okay.
Well, shall we get going?
Yeah. We have people to find.
All right.
Yes,
So
we do.
where are all of you going? So are you going to try and follow Manus' path?
That is the plan. After letting Zenvareth, what?
Zenvaranth.
Zenvaranth,
And
where we're going.
Okay.
What we're doing.
All right. So you try and wave her down?
Yeah.
All right, she comes swooping down and then lands on the ground with a powerful kind of thud, and she almost skids to a stop, wings flared out to either side. Yes?
We have a lead for a possible survivor. We intend to follow it further down the mountain. How might we get a hold of you, should we require your assistance?
Where are you going to be going after that?
I give like a general description of where the grove is and where the arrow was pointing.
Yes, but once you've searched, once you've found the survivor or not, are you going somewhere after that?
Not that we've immediately decided.
If we go to a city, I might be able to get us into contact with some people.
Any particular city?
I don't actually know any cities.
there's Pyre. It's a very, very large city. Hannibal and I were just there.
I'm not very welcome in some places there.
We don't talk about that.
Do I know where that city is, or like?
You would, yes, you would be familiar. Pyre is was historically the largest city in the world. There's another city across the ocean that is currently competing for largest city with it, but is basically the largest city in the world on the eastern coast of the continent where you grew up.
Do I know how far I am from my home?
Right now, you're not exactly, because you're never sure exactly where you were.
I mean, off of where Pyre is. Do I know how far Pyre is from my home?
You would have a general idea, yeah. And it's a fair distance away. Like, it's Pyre is part of a group of 4 nations called the Arclight Covenant that worship a semi-living god known as the Silver Flame, just a giant column of silver fire that resides in the city of Pyre. Occasionally, you would know historically that part of their religion includes they had a prophet who went on a pilgrimage through all 4 nations, but also at one point stopped by and stayed with your people for a bit. So occasionally people there is a pilgrimage that people can take where they basically follow the path of that prophet and go on the journey that he took. And you've had pilgrims actually pass through home before. That would be like the main almost kind of tourist attraction for your home, is people that come and stay with your people for moving on through the pilgrimage.
Well then, unless there's anywhere else that you would like to go, perhaps that might be our destination.
Back to Pyre.
Okay.
After we possibly gain more information on Maina.
I think Rentar's mentioned Pyre before. Very large city on the coast.
Yes.
I can find it.
Is it on the coast?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
You guys spent all of your time on the non-coastal side, though, like on the furthest inland district. But yeah, there's a river that feeds out into the ocean on the other side.
I still would very much like to visit the Bone Grinder, so...
If
What
you're
now?
good, we'll go to the Bone Grinder.
I would prefer to not do that.
It's harmless, really.
Yes, just harmless. Maybe I can get more spider eggs while we're in
What?
Pyre
No.
as well.
No.
I ate one and nothing happened, so it's a good thing to do.
Nothing happened yet.
Hannibal, make me a Constitution
Hasn't been-
saving throw.
18.
Okay. All right.
My God.
All right. So Zenvaranth will say, "All right, I will go find a place to stay near this pyre, and well, you'll have to find some way of contacting me, but I will be around."
Thank Thank you for your assistance.
Thank you.
As she takes off into the air and then flies out over the mountains. All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right. So are you going to try and follow Mayna's path?
Yes.
Okay.
Taking all the time I need. This is more about staying on the path than being quick about it.
Right. Okay. So I will take survival checks from anyone who would like to roll them.
No. I have a -1.
Hell
Okay.
yeah, I'll go for it. I'll help.
14.
17.
Nice.
Okay. Is Ilvem gonna try and search, or?
Well, I got better than both of those
Oh, did you?
with a 6.
Oh, okay. All right.
Excellent.
Because that's how
Okay.
numbers work.
Carry the party.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yep, you really are the
So-
MVP.
Highest was Drusilla then, with a 17, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. You're able to identify the footprints that Sid points out. Basically, Sid brings you down into this grove. It's a very small, very nice, kind of flat, mossy area surrounded by trees. It's like a little, almost like flat shelf almost, partway down the hill as it descends into forest. Very rough terrain around it, very secluded. And Sid points out these footsteps. And Drusilla, you're able to follow these. You're all moving very slowly because you have to like slowly kind of shimmy down the side of the mountain, like down like through rocks and all these things. You're going slow, so it's not a problem. But like, there's definitely a couple times like one of you almost slips and has to grab onto a tree root before going tumbling down the mountain. There's plenty of trees growing out that you could catch yourselves on, though. But Drusilla, as you're searching, you follow them for a bit, but more and more the footsteps start taking rocks, like stepping on rocks instead of on dirt, or moving in ways where you start finding, you're able to identify places where like tree branches were bent back, but then carefully bent back into place. Like you can just barely identify that. And it's very clear that the person who left these tracks did not want to be followed or tracked and was purposefully obscuring their path to the point where eventually you lose the path entirely. And Sid, you would know that Mayna's particular area of study and training definitely involved this kind of thing of moving very carefully and stealthily through woods, which is probably why the path becomes nigh impossible to follow.
Mm-hmm. Are there any more arrows or any messages, anything that looks like slightly off?
Not that you see, no. Basically, it was kind of just the one. Now you're thinking that maybe it wasn't necessarily like I went this way, follow me, and more of a like, if you see this, leave, like run.
Hmm. Okay. Perhaps Mayna does not want us to follow her. I would respect her wishes.
Perhaps it's not that she doesn't want us to follow her. Maybe she just didn't want to be followed. But that's a good sign, right? If she was able to hide her own tracks.
There's no blood, which means no injuries.
Possibly. If there's one thing that Mayna was good at, it was staying alive. I trust her to be able to do so.
And you would remember that based on the timing of yesterday, the attack happened. You're not quite sure when the attack started, but you left Mayna in the grove doing yoga, and you're very aware that from the grove, you can hear what's going on up in the main thoroughfare very well. Point where the two of you have eavesdropped on more than a few conversations from down there, so it would provide excellent forewarning of the attack, and would have made it very easy for her to just quietly slip away down the mountain without anyone even having known she was there.
I'm just gonna take a moment and just sort of like close my eyes and breathe and just sort of send out into the universe the wish that we will meet again.
Okay.
And then turn to the rest of the group. Onward to Pyre, then.
Wunderbar.
All right. You can make your way. You can navigate your way back, Drusilla. You can help, knowing the signs and everything, find the road that led you up here through the mountains, like the mountain paths, and you can kind of reconnect with the path you took. And would you like to use the map that you used to get back up here?
Yes.
Okay. So you take that out. It appears it does work both directions. So Drusilla takes. I think Drusilla had the map, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Drusilla takes out this map that appears to be a fairly rough map of the coastline and the mountain ranges and everything in this area, that has a very, very specific squiggly line between Pyre and the northern mountain range. This will be the first time the two of you, Sid and Ilvem, have seen exactly what mountain range you're in. And Sid, you would realize that you are actually these are the mountains just south of your home. Actually, you were fairly close. Yeah.
So are we closer to my home than we are to Pyre?
Kind of, but they do become near. They become very difficult to pass to the north.
And do I know anything else about the pilgrimage route from Pyre to my home?
I don't know how much you would have paid attention to the specifics of the people coming through and the stories they would have told.
Probably not super close attention. Sid's gonna go ahead and keep that information to himself for the time being.
All right. So as Drusilla takes out this map and you begin walking, after a few steps, there's this sudden like rushing sensation as all of your surroundings kind of blur past you, and then you are still on the road, but further up. And like after a disorienting second, you can look around and like using the landmarks and some of the further distant peaks, realize you've just moved a couple miles in a couple steps.
Ilvem like clenches onto Sid's arm.
Sid lets it happen.
All right, do you keep walking?
Yeah.
All right, so you continue walking again. It's like this. It's like moving and pausing motion, where every few steps you rush forward by a matter of miles, and it takes what would be a very, very long journey, and turns it into like a 2-hour walk.
And my alchemical self goes away.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So you guys know this map does work in both directions, and it works continuously. So you have this. So it was specifically made for you to transport between Pyre and that enclave. So no matter what, from Pyre to that enclave is a 2-hour walk, either direction. All right, and you walk along, and after 2 hours of walking, it's hard to talk because you kind of have to focus on walking because of the disorienting sensation of the constant movement. Mm-hmm. But eventually, when you pause, you're on a hill that crests over the plains, and down below you can see the biggest city any of you have ever seen. It is just this massive, sprawling, walled city, miles in both directions, that leads just filled with rooftops, a massive wall that leads around it, and the entire city on one side kind of slopes up to this cliff, looking out over the ocean because you can see the glittering ocean out in front of you. In the middle, it's like mid to late afternoon at this point. You can see the ocean out in front of you. The city backs up to it, and there's this tall cliff where a castle sits on the very top of it. And you all get Sid and Ilvem get their first looks at the city of Pyre, and Hannibal and Drusilla see it again, returning back to where you've been staying for the past time.
Did we
and
pass
as
the tree?
you haven't gotten to it just yet.
Not yet. Okay.
but that is where we are going to end the session for the week. All right. Thank you, audience. Everyone in the audience who was watching and staying active in the chat. Very much appreciated that.
Yes.
Thank you to new players, Kirkland and Lindsey. Very happy to have you here. Very happy to have we have the art and everything. You can see your character art, or everyone can see each other's character art now.
Can we please post it in the chat now?
Oh yeah, that's right. I need to post it. I'll post the zoomed in versions in the chat. Actually, I have it on my. I actually have it on my other computer.
So good. So good.
Yep.
It's very good.
Yeah. So thank you. You were a very welcome addition. Look forward to more of Sid and Ilvem. And next week we will get them into the big city for the first time and see how that goes.
Really happy.
So excited.
And there's some things waiting for you there. So yeah, very, very glad you could join us. Very glad to be back into this. So everybody, same time, Sundays every week, back into it. Soldiers of the Lich Queen, we are back.
Woo!
All right.
Yay!
All right. So, does anybody have any last minute announcements to make? Anything to say before we go?
Other than you can catch me on Twitter at @DeBurbles, Bubbles the Mermaid, and Instagram, Tumblr, and in the Twitch chat as something that says Bubbles. Come say hi. I like to make friends, even though Sid doesn't. And yeah, just thank you guys for
friends.
maybe
or Ilvem will die trying.
That the latter might end up happening. But yeah, other than that, just thank you guys for having me. I had such a good time. It was so good. I was super excited for next week, and we have a dragon.
We do.
We have a dragon.
Well, there's a dragon who's willing to work with you. I don't know if you told her we have a dragon, I think she would have some choice words for you.
We have a dragon.
100% have a dragon.
Anybody here watch Gallivant?
Yes.
I have a dragon.
Yep.
If you haven't, and you like fantasy and musicals, go watch it.
Everyone needs to watch Gallivant. Please do it.
It is
yourself a disservice if you do not.
I'm so upset that it didn't get a season 3.
I will put it on my wall.
It is a fantasy adventure musical.
Oh man.
It's so good. It is everything. It's so good.
So good. Okay. All right. Kirkland, were you gonna say something?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you right back here next week at the same time for more Soldiers of the Lich Queen. Have a good rest of your weekend, everybody.
Also, if you're new in the Twitch chat for this show specifically, we also stream on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Wednesdays, you can come watch us do at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can watch us play through Dungeons of the Mad Mage right now. And then at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesdays, you can come watch us do our flagship game for the channel, Beneath the Tide, which is a D&D pirate campaign. And I am the DM for both of those Wednesday games. Sam plays in Beneath the Tide. He's great.
I normally play as Ash the pirate captain, but more recently, due to reasons, I'm playing as Sir Henry Lofferton, Esquire, lawyer, and that's about it.
Oh, bless.
I'm in chat.
And on Thursday nights at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, we're playing through Curse of Strahd. And we're just picking up the pieces from where 2 party members were crushed by an elevator. So
nice.
Oof.
So come watch that. And that's it. So good night and goodbye, everybody.
Good night.